Welcome, 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 you brave warriors. I'm saying that because I feel like if you are here right now and you are, let's just say this, you're ready. You're ready, one way or the other. Maybe it's a confirmation. Maybe it's something you've been thinking about, but you're not sure, so you need some confirmation. But this is one of those readings. I haven't done a reading like this in a really long time where it's almost like there's this heaviness, this shadow, this dangerous, deep, dark energy. You know, there are certain decks that I have that only come out every so often. You know, like I watch readers too, right? And they use the same decks or the same types of decks or whatever, but it's like it's so different with me. I have learning decks and tarot decks, and you know what I mean? Like I have the Four Agreements, you know, that was a book that was turned into an oracle deck, you know. But I have a nice little library now of some, you know, really get to the bottom of it, no bullshit, stop fucking around, like, you know, can't lie, can't move, you know, you can't I was gonna say you can't run, but right now I'm gonna tell you, like, it's a minute and 23 seconds in and I can already feel, I can feel how heavy this is for you guys. Like I can literally feel it. I wouldn't say that I didn't want to do this, but I would say that it wasn't my favorite. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't like, oh yeah, I can't wait to work here. I'd be like, oh yeah, I can't wait to give this news to people. You know what I mean? I mean, you saw the title. So I'm going to, with grace and gratitude, I'm going to say right now, I am so happy that you are here. But if you are not ready to be here, I really think you should leave until you're ready. One of my jobs on this planet is I'm a no bullshit person, you know? I'm a no bullshit person. It's not my job to candy coat things. I try and do things as lovingly and kind and gentle and beautiful and soft as I possibly can. I really do. But at the same time, you know, I've been going through this. The reason why I took a lot of time off is because I've been really going through stuff myself. I mean, obviously I'm human here, right? I have my own stories. I have my own things, my own battles that I had to go through, because how else could I be here for you if I didn't go through them myself? And so this year was a humdinger. It was definitely, you know, by the way, Bubba just wanted to say hello. She's here for moral support. She understands that a lot of you that you know, either you know what's ahead or you have some, you know, reservations. Anyway, but that being said, I understand. And I too am going through very similar things. And when this came to me, it was actually shortly after I did the last massive, like I did the channeling, the picker reading, I did that, you know, the fix it, you know, poem / story, you know, and my other channel, Lula's Life. And I did a lot of work that day. I was like on fire. It was Moon Day, Monday, and it's my day. I was born on Monday and Moon Day. And yeah, basically, long story short, it was like I felt like I was on cloud nine. I haven't felt that good in a really long time, especially after doing so many readings. A lot of times I'm super exhausted, but I had had like a full, like almost 2 full days to just be on my own, without anyone's, you know, energy but mine and Bubba. And it really made a massive difference. Like I just felt lighter. I felt different. So at the end of all that, I'm like settling in for the night and making my food. I'm like, what a great day. I'm like, everything's great. Like, I love my life. Thank you, Spirit. I'm so blessed to have this job. I'm so blessed to be a starseed. I'm so blessed to be a light worker. Like, fuck yeah, man. Like, this is awesome. And then all of a sudden I heard, yeah, so the moon's, you know, this weekend. I'm like, yeah. And they're like, and we'd like you to do a picker reading for, you know, the star seeds and the light workers. And I was like, all right. And I was like, but the way they were talking, I'm like, you're shifting gears, what's happening? But they were gentle and they were loving. And then they gave me the whammy, which is, can this relationship be salvaged, or is it time to start over? Whew. I mean, and for those of you who know me and follow my story, I spoke about it on Lula's Life. My partner and I, we've been having a lot of like, it's natural that we're having these things right now because of the energetically, astrologically. There are so many things that are happening on the planet right now that either haven't happened in hundreds of years or haven't happened, since World War II. And you know what I mean? Like just all of these things that are happening. I haven't watched any like astrology things for a long time, and yesterday I watched Pam Gregory's full moon forecast, which she did I think at the end of June or the very beginning of July, by the way, and I will definitely put a link below. You should check it out. But it was trippy, man. Like she fucking like nailed. She's always been one of my go-tos. I found Braca Goldsmith through her, and then I just aligned more with Braca's energy. Then I love Pam. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I love Pam. Like I literally, it reminds me of that line from oh, it's the thing of Steel Magnolias where she's like, she worships the quicksand that I walk on. She kind of reminds me of that kind of like Clary energy from Steel Magnolias. But she's also, she's very like she's such an old witch, and just I wouldn't speak for her and say what she calls herself, but like she's just, both of her, Pam and Braca, are amazing. But then Braca went off the scene for a while, and I was a little bummed out because I was like, Braca, no. But it's been good. It's been good because she really helped me through a lot, and I had one of my spirit guides, whenever something clicks, they'll literally go, by Jove, I think she's got it. Like, but they do it in such a funny little British accent, I totally can feel that my family's from there. Like, I know my family's from all that area of Ireland, Scotland, England, France, like my whole, like my blood and bone lineage is definitely from there. But also from Germany and Poland. But it's interesting that there's so much that has been happening astrologically, and I've been watching it from the outskirts, and I think her name is Betsy Gutman, and she's the only astrologer that they've been having me look at, but I don't even really watch her stuff. Like, she just has really great posts. I actually look at her community section. Like, I like her, like each week she'll kind of say like, this is what's going on, or blah blah blah. I'm like, cool. Then I just kind of take it with that. I'm watching Pam's thing and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, no wonder why, because I mean, if you watch it, you might be like, how I've been like saying to you guys, I've been singing that song from the Carpenters, don't they know it's the end of the world? It ended when you said goodbye. So yeah, and if they call me to put that there, I'll put that there. If you notice in the last reading, I know I put a lot of things. You don't have to look at everything I put, but it's just like they're little Easter eggs. Some things I don't put at all, and it's for you to research on your own. Some things are just like a little wink wink reminder to do it, and some are like, a lot of you are overwhelmed, and I don't mind doing the extra legwork for you, like that's my job. With grace and gratitude, I appreciate anything that comes my way, but I never expect anything. There are so many things in here that like on my person that are from you guys, like from the tribe. So thank you so much. You guys send me gifts, you send me money, cards for, the readings. It's amazing. By the way, I'm getting a new deck. I think I'm ordering it today. It came into my orbit. I'm not even going to tell you what it's called, but I'm super excited about it. There's just a lot of cool things that are happening. So stick with me. Make sure you like, subscribe, share. And you know what? How you help with donations, quote unquote, or supporting this channel is by liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing. If you have the financial means, absolutely, thank you. It helps me to continue doing this. But and I love the gifts, but like, again, they are just always like, if they're from your heart. There's nothing that I would ever expect from anyone, because spirit does bless me, and like I have everything I need whenever I need it. So I'm okay. Everybody's eating, everyone's healthy. You know what I mean? We're okay. And there are so many beautiful things that are coming our way. I can feel that too. So with that being said, it's the energy out there is really intense. So if I can help you in any way, I will. Like, I mean, I worked on that last reading for, probably like 2 or 3 days. And I love it because it helps me too. And everything that I research for us, because I say us, right? It helps me too. And it further helps to educate and bring the medicine to you as I am bringing the medicine to myself, right? Okay. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And remember, every time you do that, any of that energy that you put out into the world comes back to you. It always comes back to you, right? The way that I always pray on things, like when you send gifts or, things like that, like I pray over it and I pray for you, and all that too. I mean, I pray for you guys anyway when we're here, but you hear what I'm saying. Okay, drink some water. I've been getting this download a lot from all of the outer realms. There's a lot of interesting things happening on the planet, but the vibration is elevating so high that the darkness is just like not going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to talk too much about, I'm just going to say, I don't even want to use like words or key phrases that might like, trigger something for the algorithms or like perk or like whatever. But I will say this. I think it's interesting that people, yes, people are dying, but interesting that, let's just put it this way. I hadn't seen my partner in almost a week, and they came home last night and they were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe like this thing happened in America where someone was almost killed, fighting for, to be president. I'll just put that word there because anything that can mean anything, right? But we started talking about it and I'm like, dude, is it just me? Or I'm like, I don't want to be that person. I really don't, but what I am, everything in my body tells me that was like staged and, whatever. And I'm like, because if they wanted him dead, he'd be dead. End of story. End of story. I'm going to leave it right there. So there's a lot of things that are happening. Isn't it interesting that a few days later, the other one, oh, I'm sick with COVID. I can't be there. Oh, I don't know if that's going to be a trigger word, but you know what I mean? Like, I can't be there for that, because it's like there's just so many things that are happening. So let this shit play out. Let spirit, let's put it this way. Somebody said recently, and I was like, gosh, it's so true. They're like, there is something going on right now that there's things in the underbelly, right? In the inner earth, outer earth, in the stars, inner earth, like, you know what I mean? Like everything, it's real, not real, whatever. But there are so many things that are happening outside of our person that a lot of people right now are retreating more inward, right? Because we're realizing like that's where our peace lies, is inward. When it gets ugly and all that, I turn everything off. Like I'll turn off my phone, everything, I just go into my own universe. I go into my universe, I play, I create, I do what I want to do, and then I come back to it. But I know that I'm responsible for my energy. So if I keep my energy in a high vibration, I don't have to be in front of you. I don't have to be on this camera. I don't have to, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have to be anywhere because energy is energy. It's going to be everywhere, no matter what. And energy it flows, right? There's algorithms in the energy that, algorithms aren't just a computer, right? It's like, if you think of it that way, it's like we have all this energy that is just like flowing around. So if you're in a super high vibration where you are, the whole planet is coming into a super high vibration, right? So if you pull yourself away from all of that, people are noticing that, and that's what's happening. So allow, we are the light workers and the star seeds. This is our job, to stay in a high vibration as much as possible. We work through our human shit, we work with the third dimensional stuff, and then we go right back to who and what we are. And that is why this reading came to be, is because right after they said it to me, I was like, my stomach sunk, because my partner and I literally took a break to, be like, do we really want to part ways? Do we want to separate for temporary, for a long time, permanently? Like, we really need some time apart to think about it. And while we were apart, I went up and down, right? Because I had moments where I'm like, yep, we're done. Like, I'm good. I'm totally okay. I really genuinely am. I'm excited to go back to this. I've always loved to work. It's part of, I'm a triple Sag. Like, I want to be working. My moon is in Scorpio water, right? Like, I want the love energy to flow. I mean, it makes sense that my moon, or that the energy of love and all that is connected to our heart, connected to the moon and water. And you know what I mean? So, and that fire is something to energize and bring life, But with that being said, there's also, this part of me that's been in a relationship for 9 years that has seen the ugliest things I've ever been in a relationship. Ugliest. And I've been in relationships that I didn't think it could get any uglier than that. Just words thrown like daggers, It's just, my gosh, what Bubba has heard and seen. I mean, there's been times where she's like got in our face and been like, meow, like, shut up. You two are ridiculous. Like, you know what I mean? Like, where she's like, stop. Like, just stop. And I'm like, you know what? She's right. I'm like, we are being ridiculous right now. I'm like, we don't need to, go through all this. And that's really what it was, is in the end, then halfway through, I started to think, I love him. He loves me. Like, I know we love each other. And maybe this has just gone, not all, relationships are meant to last. And I think it's interesting that we're at 9 years, we hit 9 years in May. So it's like, I mean, for all I know, at the end of, a year from now, it'll be 10 years and I'll be like, wow, we're done. Like, we had a decade together. It was beautiful. It's completed, or it'll be something where we'll finally who knows? But all I know is that last night we talked, and I feel like for right now, we're good, and we're going to do this kind of trial, like together, like separated, because I need my space. I need a place to work. I need a place to create. And, what the luxury that I had, I'm getting really personal with you guys, but the luxury that I had, I mean, besides caring for her, I ate when I wanted to eat. I did whatever I wanted, and it was so nice, and it was so freeing, because I make dinner every night for us, because I'm always like, well, I'm going to make food for myself. I might as well cook for him. And I don't usually eat the meal before, because I'll snack on things or whatever, and then I'll have a nice meal. We have a nice meal together. No, when he was gone, I was like, man, this is really nice. Like, one day I ate like a big meal at like noon. And then the rest of the day, I was just like, yeah, I just kind of snacked. And then I had some popcorn for dinner while I watched a really awesome movie. By the way, I watched Joe Black. It's free on YouTube right now. I highly recommend you watch it. I haven't seen it in years. It's so fucking good. And I don't want to give too much away, but it is a very young, very beautiful Brad Pitt. My God. He's so pretty. Like, seriously, he's so pretty. And there's moments in there where I remember when they used to call him the young Robert Redford. And he really did capture a lot of Robert Redford's essence in that movie. Claire Forlani is absolutely stunning, and of course the one and only Anthony Hopkins. I don't want to give the story away, but it's awesome, it's eerie, it's cool, it's interesting. It was way ahead of its time. It's 3 hours long, so be prepared. And I would watch it with someone who would really like it with you. I would not watch it with someone who you don't think would. And you can go and watch the trailer, you can read the synopsis, or you can just like go into it blind. Sometimes I like to go into movies blind and not know anything about it. I've done that before. There was this one that I watched, Moonlight. I forget the name of it. I think maybe it was just called Moonlight. I had no idea what it was about. No, none at all. It was just sweeping the Oscars that year, and I was like, cool. And I watched it, and it was so beautiful, and I was like bawling my eyes out. And I'm like, I had no idea what this movie was. Never even heard of it. I don't have TV. I either watch things on the internet or rent things from the library. So it was really, really interesting. So do as you want with that little bit of information. But yeah, but it was just really beautiful. The film was beautiful. There was a lot of huge actors in it, actually. Those are just the three main ones. But the three main ones in that story, they all have like side stories. Jeffrey Tambor. I can't think of her name right now. She's an amazing actress. Plays her sister. Anyway, but it was just, it made me look at things a lot different. All I'll tell you is the topic is death and rebirth. And so I feel like it's a nice segue into this reading, because there is so many, there's just, I mean, you'd have to be blind, you'd have to be, as they say, blind, deaf, and dumb to not feel, understand, or comprehend that the planet is not the same, that nothing is the same, that things are shifting, the earth is shifting, people are shifting, energy is shifting. And for some of you, this is like a massive like wake up call to shift certain people, places, and things out of your orbit. And for others of you, this is like, you know, the, you know what I mean? The guillotine has dropped. Done. You need to be done. 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 Okay? So, with that being said, we're going to read from this oracle deck. And these are what you're going to choose from: fire, earth, air, and water. In this moment right now, we are in water energy. And these three actually have messages inside of them. And this one has like stuff that I burn. I've got sage in here. I've got cedar, Palo Santo, orange peels, fun shit. I think there's some rosemary in there. So Spirit is very serious about this right now. Whatever you align with, the elements are there for different reasons that will be unveiled in the readings. But they want me to say this, and they're very strict about this. Like me, I'm a triple Sag, right? So I might be like, oh, I'm going to watch this one because this is fire, and my moon is in water and Scorpio, so I'm going to watch this one too. That may be. That may be absolutely true. However, it could also be you're an earth sign, right? But you're dealing with a fire sign, so it could be about them. Right? You know what I mean? So there's going to be further things that'll be revealed in each reading. But one more thing they want me to say is it could also just be, do you need to burn something away? Right? So you need to access the fire energy. Do you need to get grounded in this relationship? You know? Is there something, you know what I mean, like going on, you know, in terms of like communication, right? Air is also communication. And then we have water, which is flow. So it could be that you're in a relationship that's stale, stagnant, it's not moving. You know what I mean? And the other thing is, these relationships, I have no idea. I have not pulled the cards yet, like literally haven't even, like this is, you know, I'm opening them right here. All right. But I'm not even, look at that. By the way, I was just reminded that next year, this is the year of the dragon, and next year is the year of the snake. And how have I never put that together, that they're both very reptilian like that? So very interesting. So that's the back of these cards. Okay. Ooh, look at that. Look at the sides of them too. Look at that red fire. All right. So I really hope that this helps you guys. And if they have me pull in like crystals or stones, you know, like, I mean, as of right now, you would know more than me, right? Because I haven't done it yet. So it might just, they may just have me put fire, earth, you know, air, water, or, you know, that's the representation. And then it's going to be like by a crystal or emoji or, you know, or nothing. I guess we will soon see. Okay. And listen, I know that this is tough. I'm telling you right now, I know that this is tough because my partner and I had a great conversation last night, but I also can feel that, like, I feel right now that I'm in a different place than they are. But they have also, the whole time that they were gone, they were working, and only took a day or two to themselves, where the whole time they were gone, I was working. But my work is different, right? Because when I'm working, I'm learning, I'm growing, you know what I mean? I'm expanding. Not saying that they're not in their work, but I'm saying like they repair vehicles, cars. They're dealing with people who, some of the people in their world are third dimensional. Some people, you know, are not. They're like old wizards and cool. You know what I mean? People, he's drawn to who he's supposed to. Like, you know what I mean? Like he heals as well. Like he told me today he was excited that an old, you know, client of his reached out to work with his, you know, psychedelic medicine. And so he was really excited about that, you know. So we each have our own thing. And that's what I told him. I said, I feel like you're still like on your journey in that way, where like, when we took that time apart, all it did was remind me that I know what I am. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know what I am, and this is what I am. And there are a lot of things that I do and a lot of things that I love, but this is what I am. I've always been this. Meaning, like, I have always been a seer, a medium, a translator, you know what I mean? A go between. I've always been the hand of God. I've always been the hand of Goddess. Like, I've always been the hand of the Creator, the hand. Like, I've always been the hand. I've always been the Fool in the tarot. Like, I've always been, I've been doing it my entire existence of however and what I am in our soul consciousness together. That is what I am here to do. And I spent many, many moons and decades giving to my blood and bone and trying to figure out and navigate that. But I love it because I was born into this ancestry, into this line, of, I can go through all the different last names, surnames and things that have been through my family, and why I chose Tallulah, because it makes sense. Tallulah is both in the Native American culture and in the Celtic culture, and that makes so much sense because I have blood and bone that come from those islands, and then I have my blood and bone that were also created from the Native American Cherokee, from this, from Turtle Island, like from the Big Island. So, with all of that being said, I had to go through my own ancestry. I'm still not done. Like, I know, like, when I was in Europe, I was in London literally on a layover at Heathrow, but I didn't like go there. And Anna, man, I can feel my days are coming. I don't know when, but man, I know I'm heading over there. I know it. I don't know if it's next year. I don't know what's going to happen, but a lot is happening. Maybe after the election, I don't know, but there's a lot of things that are happening, and I'm really feeling a pull to a lot of different places and a lot of different countries. So I feel like maybe next year travel is going to be on the agenda. We'll see. But definitely in the next 2 years, I feel like I'm going to be traveling, bringing the medicine the way that I do. And I also feel like I'm meant to, go to a lot of sacred places and sacred mountains. I've been feeling that, like, I'm meant to go there and replenish my energy. So if you are feeling a pull as well, please listen to your intuition. Follow that lead, because your intuition is you. It's your higher self. It's your higher self, and it's pulling you away from that old energy and that old body. And that's what this reading is for, is that you may need to, diminish one relationship and salvage another. Maybe nothing is salvageable. What I realized was that nothing was salvageable. Not my friends, not my family, nothing at this point in this juncture in my life. None of the people from my past, except for one person that is in my past, like from like over 20 years ago. But and then there's some that are in my the last, I don't know, maybe decade since I've come into my gifts. But other than that, I only have one person that is still in my orbit that's from my past. And there's a reason for that. Now, I don't know if I'll come back around to those people. I have no idea. But I know that I had to go through a death. I had some really terrible news from a family member, and it really threw me off my game. It really threw me off my gate, and it made me realize that at this point in time, I just had to let go. I had to let go. I cannot stay in a place that no longer serves not even just my greatest and highest good, but just my daily energy. Because no matter if I stay this person, when I'm around them, it's their unsteady. It's their, you know what I mean? Because if people are like this and you're grounded, it's like you're grounded. But if you're around that, it's like, I saw this beautiful lecture once from this very, very wise old monk from Tibet. And they said something about energy and people, and then they were so gracious to share their own personal story and said, I am a monk, 60 years or something like that. And they're like, even me, myself, if I, they like to go on trips and, whatever, they're like, but even when I do that, I have to replenish. I start to get ungrounded. I'm a mess. My head starts going, you know what I mean? He's like, because because you're so grounded and so connected to spirit, you know, you're there and you're loving and you're giving, but then it's just like, it's draining, and then you go and you replenish, and then, but if you just keep doing it, even if you replenish, it's like, no, it's like, it's just going to happen, right? So, you know, yes, we're superheroes in some ways, right? We naturally can heal ourselves. You know, without, even if you're not a Reiki, you can naturally heal yourself. All you have to do is say, this is what I say, okay? And let's do this together, because we're going to wrap this up and then we're going to go into the reading, okay? Okay, so you can keep your eyes open or close your eyes. By the way, thank you. Spirit says thank you. When I first started this, I felt so much anxious energy. I felt nauseous, and you guys have really gotten grounded and calmed down. So Spirit says, good job. You are doing a good job. Stay open, stay open, stay open before you listen to these messages. And even now, like, maybe you want to come back later. You know, maybe you were just here to hear this, and then, like, when you're ready, take a few breaths or go eat some food or go take a shower, take a bath, like whatever you need. Or maybe you want to do this and then go take a shower, take a bath, and you know what I mean? And whatever you need to do, okay? So I say, thank you, Spirit. I call upon my higher self. I call upon your higher selves. I call upon the healing energies of the universe with grace and gratitude. I am in such grace and gratitude for myself and these beautiful light workers and star seeds who are here to change the world, to change the planet. We thank you as well for being here with grace and gratitude. Thank you. Thank you, Spirit, for healing us from the inside out and the outside in our minds, our bodies, and our souls, in our avatars. Thank you for balancing and clearing our chakras and our auric field of that which no longer serves our greatest and highest good. Thank you for the grounding energy of our familiars. Thank you, Baba. Thank you, Spirit. As above, so below, as within, so without, we are healed, and no doubt, we are here, no doubts. Release. And the water flow energy of Cancer, we release and let go of that which no longer serves our greatest and highest good. Thank you, Moon energy. We welcome in the full moon in Capricorn. Thank you so much. We are less than 24 hours from the full moon in Capricorn now, when she reaches her peak. Beautiful Luna, thank you, Spirit, for being here, for blessing us. Thank you, water energy, for washing away all that which no longer serves our greatest and highest good. Release, release. Wish we were outside. Okay. Thank you, Spirit. Oh. One last. Okay, you ready for this? Heal your pressure points. Research your pressure points. work with sound energy, breath work. It's going to be different for everybody. Thank you, air energy. Thank you, fire energy. Thank you, Capricorn. Earth energy. Thank you, water. Thank you, Cancer energy. Thank you, Spirit. We're washing away and wiping away all that which no longer serves the greatest and highest good of our energy field, of our avatars, of our minds, our bodies, our souls, of the universe. We are one, children. Remember that. We are one. Brothers and sisters, we are one. We are one. We are one. As I hold my arm and hands firm, I am bringing this energy to you as well. Meditate. Close your eyes, be at one with the world and the universe. And we'll leave you with this. Grace and gratitude. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you for the channeling. Thank you for the channeled healing. Thank you for the sound healing. Take some time to relax. Baba's getting some water. I too am getting some water. Drink some water. I'll preface this. You probably have water because I'm going to tell you to get some and make sure you have some. Okay. All right. So, like I said, you can continue on if you feel good. If not, take a break. Come back when you're ready. Baba is going outside to ground and center herself. I am going to do the same, and then I will come back. I'm not sure which one we're going to start with. So, again, you'll probably know. It may be water. I'm thinking we're probably going to end. I usually go from, left to right, my left to right. So if that's the case, then it would be, but otherwise just look for the elements of fire, earth, air, and water. The obvious are there too. You may even be drawn to, because you're like really into frogs. You've seen, there was literally a frog in my sink the other day. It was awesome. If you're drawn to owls or you work with owls, but like I said, remember that these are also the air energies. And if you're feeling like you don't know, then use your pendulum. Use your pendulum. And if you don't have a pendulum, take a coin or create something that has one side or the other side that has enough weight that would, shift one or the other. Make sure you wash it, you bless it you set it with the intention that it's there to help you with a yes/no answer. There are also some cards in the tarot deck. You can research on Google or whatever, whatever research engine you work with, and you can put in, which tarot cards are good for a yes or no, those kind of things. Okay, there are a lot of things, but these are very, very, this isn't one of those readings where you just run into it. You know what I mean? These are talking about relationships that, need to be salvaged or move on. So, this is the kind of energy that you may know already, or you're really unsure. And if you're really unsure, it could be for a plethora of reasons. And because of those plethora of reasons, you know what I mean? This isn't your typical, oh, I'm just going to go, whatever, because that decision that you come to, this is your higher self speaking to you. I am a medium. I'm here to help bring the breadcrumbs to you. It's your decision. This isn't my life or my story. It's yours. So keep that in mind, okay? All right, I'm excited. I'm ready to dive in. So I will see you over at your readings. Until next time, take really good care of yourselves and each other. Stay hydrated, eat healthy foods. And I love you so much. Spirit loves you so much. And we'll see you over at your reading. Blessed be. I'll see you soon. Welcome, reading one. Oh my goddess. So I say goddess because Cher, I mean, I've been I won't even go, let's just say I'm a massive fan, okay? Have been since I can remember. Anyway, with that being said, her music has really been like coming up in the last like 24 hours. Just like, I mean, I subscribe to her on YouTube, but still it's just like, anyway. All I can say is I was singing a different Cher song, and then I said, oh, is that the song for reading one? I'm like, ooh, that's interesting, because that gives me like, right? Because it gives you a whole different, like, interesting. Okay, what's the theme? Like, what's going on? And then I just like got this moment where I was like, wait, no. I don't think that's the, and I was like going through, I'm like, wait, did I do that? Like double, like second guessing everything. It was really peculiar. And then all of a sudden this came together, your altar came together. And then all of a sudden I heard, 'cause I'm strong enough to live. I can't even try to sing like her. I would just sound ridiculous, because you cannot know. She's Cher, right? She was one of a kind. And I feel like that's you. You are Cher, like you're one of a kind. You, for whatever reason you chose this reading, I definitely feel like, you either have fire in your chart, or the person you're dealing with has fire in their chart, or something like that. The interesting thing is, I think Cher is a Capricorn, but I don't know. I thought I heard Spirit whisper that she was a Capricorn, because I was like, oh, maybe she's coming around. Because I was like, why is she coming around this full moon so much for me, And then I was like, oh, maybe, she's a Capricorn or a Cancer or something. And yeah. So we'll have to research it. But anyway, Cher is definitely on the menu for you. So I don't know if you are a fan, or if you're, wait, hold on. Okay, can I just say that how much I love you guys? And that I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, there's so many people watching this reading right now that, like, I can feel you, and I can feel your energy, and it's just so intense. So I can feel kind of like where this is going just by the energy that I'm getting from so many of you. And I just feel like Cher is your mascot, basically. Okay, so just think about Cher, and think, and if you don't know her songs, please just go research her. But Strong Enough is really good, especially at the beginning, like she's telling a story. And I don't know if they want me to go into the lyrics right now, because I'm feeling a pull to grab the cards and to lovingly and gently remind you that today's question for Spirit is, can this relationship be salvaged, or is it time to start over? So it's going to be different for everybody, right? It's different for everybody in the terms of your personal relationships, but the cards will reveal. So before I'm, you know what, I'm just going to stop. My eyes are closed, and I'm just going to stop right now. Take a few deep breaths with me, okay? I want you to concentrate, because the thing is, you're all so incredibly gifted, intelligent, like, your star seeds. So like you're from different, star systems that are, you're very advanced. This is not your first time. You know what I mean? You're very old soul. So, you're that person who can spin 10 plates, check their email, you know what I mean? Like, but they're saying just because you can doesn't mean you should, right? So take a few deep breaths. If you know who the person is or people, it could be a job, maybe it's a group of people, it could be a relationship, it could be a family member, right? It could be an animal. Whatever it is, gather your thoughts. Ask your questions. Can this relationship be salvaged? Or is it okay? Or is it time to start over? Oh, some of you, it's so, okay, I know. I'm going to just take a second, okay? Let's hold space for each other right now. Let's hold space for each other right now, because there's some in this group that are, please cry, let it out, let it go. Yes, I know, right? Like, because you feel like it's you. It's just you talking to you through me. And each one of you, you just apply your situation. You know what I mean? Whatever's applicable. Not every morsel of every reading is your story just because you chose it. Remember that. Even if you need to close your eyes and just use your intuition. That's why they're having me not use my face, right? Because no distractions. You can stare at your altar. You can close your eyes. And if you are watching this on your phone or playing on your laptop, whatever, they're like, put everything else away. Put everything else away. If you need to clean or do something like that, that's fine. Whatever you need to do. Just take some deep breaths. I love you. Spirit loves you. We're holding space for you. And some of you are really having a tough time. I get it. I am doing this reading in like literally less than 24 hours. It's the afternoon of Saturday. But it won't be at its peak until, at least where I live in the Pacific Northwest, I believe at 3:17 a.m. on Sunday. So, but either way, I'm in it. You know what I mean? And it's just progressing more and more. I wanted to do it tonight. They said that was just too intense. That's why we're doing it in the daytime, okay? So just know I love you. Spirit loves you. You are protected. Cry it out. Cry it out. Cry it out. Spirit, thank you so much for your time and energy with us today. For reading 1, can the relationship that they're inquiring about be salvaged? Oh. Okay, so okay, so we have, I don't know if that's Charon, reciprocity. Ooh. It's 18 and 19, darkness, Nyx. Okay, so this is so interesting. I'm going to let you, yeah, I'm just going to keep that there let you look at that. You know what's so interesting to me? It's like, initially when I saw this, I thought of this as the light and this is the dark. But then when you look inside the card though, right? Like, I mean, them with their hood on and, it looks aggressive. It kind of reminds me of a horror movie of like that's like the killer coming to get you. That's what I felt. And then this one feels more like grounded, like they are balanced in their shadow and their light. So that is interesting. I am very, very interested in this. This deck is very, very new to me. I questioned right when I saw the numbers in order, and I'm like, I haven't used this deck many times, but when I get a deck, I shuffle the fuck out of it because I don't use them all the time. So, there's a reason why they are like that, okay? So, and also, this one is, okay, so this one is reciprocity. I don't know if that's pronounced Karen. These are mythology cards too. So reciprocity. And then this one is darkness, Nyx. I think it may be, I just realized I probably shouldn't cover the moon. That felt wrong. Okay. Okay, so I feel like this is them and this is you. Oh. And there, and the end. No, just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. I don't mean to be, I'm not laughing at your pain. You know what I mean? I'm just, but laughter through tears is my favorite emotion. Apparently Steel Magnolias, maybe some of you need to have yourself a good cry. Go watch Steel Magnolias. I also spoke of Meet Joe Black in the transmission for the tribe. But yeah, this is interesting. So I am going to go into the book because this book it's heavy, man. Like there's like, this is no joke. Like I just got the chills. Like it's no joke. And please bear with me because as much as I love this deck, I cannot stand this book. Whoever created this book did not create it for people who have a hard time seeing, because it's hard for me. It's hard enough for me. The words jumble around pages, you know, my magic. But that, I love that they have the scales in the background of the snake. Like I love it. Like I see what they did there. That's really beautiful. But it's super hard to read when you have really fine print. If it was like a bigger, bolder print maybe. But anyway, so, and maybe some of you want to see the book right now. And if you would like, I took a bunch of pictures from the last few picker readings to put in community section. They're like, no. I'm like, okay. So I don't know what they're for. Maybe for some of my fun little shorts. But, or our fun little shorts. But if you want the book, if you want me to post, by the way, this is from 17, the other card. I just realized, right? Because this is 18. Wow. So like maybe that is. So if you are looking for this medicine, if something, when you watch this, you're like, wait, what did that say? You know what I mean? Like just reach out, you know, and under the reading and just say, you know, in the comment section, and just be like, hey, Lula, can you post that in the community section? And I'll do that for you. Okay. It would be my divine pleasure. Okay. Also, drink some water. You fiery fires, and maybe you're not a fire sign, but you're just drawn to it. Maybe you're feeling lethargic or depressed, and you're like, I need some fire. Maybe something's going to happen during Leo season. I'm not really sure. Like that's the cool thing about this reading, is that at this point now, those of you who come here, you're so gifted. You will know what medicine is yours, you know? It's interesting when people find themselves onto any of the spirit work that I do, and they make, you know, a comment that, you know, maybe in my third dimensional energy I would have been like, what an ass, you know, or asinine or whatever. But now I just go, oh, cool. They must be here. You know, like they found themselves here, so they got something going on, but they're just waking up, you know? Throat chakra. That was going down easy, and then it just like choked me. Maybe they're trying to tell you to stop doing too many things at once. I feel like that's what they're trying to say. It's okay. Sometimes I have to go through it first, or this could be my reading too. But yeah, a lot of our tribe members that are coming in are very young, you guys. It's very interesting. And who am I to tell them, you know, like, none of my things are made for children. If people are allowing their kids to go online, you know, I'm like, so it's interesting. At first I was blocking them because I was like, you know, they're 12 years old. Like, they shouldn't be on here, you know. And where are their parents? You know, like my motherly instincts. And then I realized, who the fuck am I to keep trying to control the universe? So this is a message for you as well, right? Like maybe you're over trying to control this relationship, this person, when the only person you need to be focusing on is yourself. If they're lost, or maybe they feel, before I go to the book, I just heard this from Spirit, like maybe they feel lost to you, but maybe they're exactly where they're meant to be, and they're not where you are, and they're never going to be. Not in this lifetime. Or you're meant to go and find your stuff so that they, you know, because the more you stay in this person's orbit, the more you like take care of them, the less they will do it for themselves, right? You have to stand your ground. Last night I had a really wonderful conversation with my partner. We've been taking these little trial separations. But I had this really great conversation with them. And then afterwards, I had this moment and I was like, okay. And then I said, you know what? Just so you know, I'm going to need more space. So, however, whatever's comfortable for you, I was like, I just know I need more space, like we just did. And, and we talked about it. And I was like, so think about it, and they know a lot of people now. They know so many people up here that I know in a heartbeat would be like, sure, go stay here. Yeah, take care of that. Or sure, you know what I mean? So if you need to do that, you may need to separate yourself from this person. It may be temporary, it may be permanent, but that's the thing. You don't need to know right now. When someone is lost in the dark, to you, like to you, right? They're lost in the dark. But to them, look, their path is illuminated. It's darkness all around them, but they're going to find their way out. But they cannot do that if you keep, smoldering their fire, right? You need to let them figure it out on their own. It is time, actually, for them to figure it out on their own. Maybe you want to go study abroad somewhere for 6 months. I just saw somebody in our tribe. I'm not going to call out names or whatever, but I just saw somebody in our tribe. I literally saw them going to something they've never done in their lifetime. I saw them going to stay several states away. I don't even want to say the area or whatever because I feel like that's their journey. But I saw them and I clear as day. And so maybe they're for everybody. Maybe this is a message for all of you. Maybe it's for one of you. Take what resonates. But I just felt like this, where you can go somewhere for maybe a week, a month, 3 months. I personally, I just put, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put in an ad. I'm because I'd love to travel. And so I'm I'm going to, blah, blah, blah. And so, if it comes to me, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I was I love to, watch people's homes. I love to watch people's animals. And so many people have said to me recently, they're like, you're so wonderful and clean and tidy and trustworthy. They're like, you'd be a dream because where we live and the area that we live is really, really, really rich. And there's a lot of people who come here just for the summer and they're not here for the winter. And so they're like, that could be a really cool gig for you. And so I was thinking about it. And then my partner came home last night after we haven't seen each other for almost, it was 6 days or 7 days, nearly a week. And, and they literally were like, hey, my one friend was telling me that they've got so many friends up here that have beautiful homes that would probably love, and they've got houses that are off, away from the house that they have caretakers and stuff like that. And I know a lot of people, so just say the word. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've been thinking the same thing, and I'm wouldn't that be more fun? For now, while we're each on our individual path, this time, this energy, astrologically, whenever you watch this, of course, it's, you're where you're supposed to be, but in real time, it's July 20th and 2024, and we are in this beautiful, gorgeous full moon, the blue moon of Capricorn. We're bookended with, we had the full moon in Capricorn, the last moon cycle, and now we are ending this cycle. Ooh, that was cool. Now we're ending this cycle. And so, what happened during that, whether you're watching it now or you're going to come back and watch it, what transpired during that moon cycle. And I told my partner yesterday, I'm I've changed, man. This last week, I really allowed myself to just absorb this energy. I'm so excited for more downloads. The Lionsgate, Dragonsgate portal is right around the corner on August 8th. There's just so much magic. We also have Mercury going retrograde. But I love retrogrades because they really help us. They help us to go back and look at the things, some things will stick with you a lifetime and some things will just dissipate and go away. But the things that stick with you a lifetime, the triggers, the things that, from your childhood or this relationship that you're in with this person, whatever it is, it's how you continue to work through it, heal it, and then how you respond to it at the end. So with that being said, I'm going to read this card, and it says, you must find balance in acts of giving and receiving. Exactly, right? Because you're giving too much. And also remember the divine masculine, for those of you, because this feels, for me, I'm feeling this feels very divine feminine, and this feels very divine masculine. So wherever you fall in this, do you know what I'm saying? Like whatever you identify with, inside, outside, right? We have both, right? Inside and outside, right? Like we are divine feminine and masculine. But recognizing which parts of your relationship are getting along, sparring, enabling, or not being there, not being supportive, not having unconditional love. Like what parts of this person are you mirroring? I really feel like this is mostly family or lover, partner, spouse, whatever. I don't feel a work or animal situation in here. But right now that's what I'm saying about that. But there's also, like, I feel like they're saying there's much more for them to uncover, right? Like there's a lot more. That's even why you can't see their face. Okay, there's a lot more coming through. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really powerful, you guys. And I was feeling this from spirit. I kept feeling like, I kept seeing dual, like two. So I was like, oh, are we pulling in more decks? We're going to do 2 decks, like, this person, that person. And they're like, no. And now I get it. And I feel, at least for this reading, it's the first one. So I feel like this is the duality. And this could even be the relationship you're having with yourself. Maybe the family, the lover, whatever is you. Maybe you're all encompassing and realizing the matrix that you're living in, right? Like realizing that, like, you are all, and whoever you're with or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, or whoever this person is in your family that you're battling, because, reciprocity, if I remember, I think reciprocity means like, well, they're probably going to tell us. I'll just let them tell you. I was going to say, I started to see nesting dolls and this one movie with Michael Keaton. But anyway, okay, so in all ways, but in particular, you must find balance in acts of giving and receiving. In all ways, but in particular, in your give and take with the earth, you must learn to reciprocate. Yes. So is whatever you're giving out, you have to make sure that you're getting back. So if you just keep giving, and you're not getting anything back, or what you're getting back is, not fueling your soul, it's draining your soul, right? It's like, this is who you are. This is who you were and who you still are. I feel like for some of you, the personal thing is like, you may be going through what I just went through, which is that I this last year, when I was doing readings all the time and connecting with spirit every day and doing my rituals every day, I just felt a natural happiness, a joy, a very grounded, peaceful energy. But over the last year, with my partner, we went through a lot of stuff and shadow, and I felt like we were, at least for myself, at the end of the dark night of the soul, and realizing, like, what my purpose was. But then all of a sudden I got thrown when something happened in from my past came into my orbit, and spirit's like, okay, what are you gonna do with this? Are you gonna do this, or are you gonna keep moving forward, right? Like, you just spent a decade of your life working on this, and are you gonna throw it away to go here, or are you gonna keep moving forward? And it was like I had to go through a death all over again. And so I feel like for some of you, it's like the relationship with yourself or the relationship with this person, it's like it's been dead for so long. Like, it's just like you're dragging the carcass along, but it's like it's gone. It's over. There's nothing, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing there. When I looked down, they had me look, and it was 103, and it was 33. So that's interesting. That's also the number 10. So whatever this is, you're done. You're done. You're at the finish line. Okay, so the duality of this energy of the card of this one is giving, receiving, and acceptance and rejection. So it says, when someone died in ancient Greece or Rome, a coin was placed either in the mouth of the dead or upon their eyes. This was an important part of the ritual of death because without coins, the recently departed could not pay the ferryman, right, to like go to the other realms. Charon was the ferryman of Hades, the son of Erebus and Nyx. Oh wow, that's interesting. So this is, oh my gosh. Okay, so This makes so much sense. So for some of you, now this is the interesting thing. For some of you, this is going to be a partnership with a lover. And for some of you, this is going to be a partnership with a parent. Okay? But you are the parent. You're Nyx. And this person's still searching in the dark because they'll either always stay there or they're not done looking for what they're looking for. So it's finished for now. Is it forever? Who's to say? Let's continue. Wow, I just got the chills. Wow, 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 wow. Also, the thing is that because what I'm seeing from this is like the second they said that, it was like, I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I like saw so much at once. And thank you, Spirit, for that, because it was a really great download. But all I saw was that there was a great gap in age between these two people. So that could be either a parent and a child, or it could be age difference in your partner. Or it could be that you could be the same age, but they're still like the child in the relationship and you're the adult. So here we go. So his responsibility, and I think because they're using his, I feel like this is the divine masculine, like I said, like, you know. And think about it. The divine masculine is crushing right now. They are doing their best. They really, you know, some of them know exactly what's going on and they're doing their best. And some of them have no fucking clue what's happening. And they're just like, I don't know what's happening right now, but I feel itchy. It reminds me of Taylor Tomlinson. I feel itchy right now. I have another one of those. I'm going to repost that. I'm going to repost that on my Lula's Life because it's fucking hilarious. It's a really short skit, but it talks about like how there should be an emergency room where you go for like broken bones and like, you know, the bad, harsh stuff that you can't fix yourself. And then there should be the anxiety room for things that you're like, I don't know what's happening, but I'm like, you know, falling apart. And I feel like for some of you, like you're not going towards your destiny because you're caring too much about this person. And for some of you, this is a female, but their divine masculine is really, really strong. This one is hardcore divine feminine. So even if you, in your like outer shell, your avatar, you align with more of a masculine energy, this is still, your divine feminine is going strong. You're good. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like you've finally figured it out. You finally figured out like the mastery of balancing your divine feminine and your divine masculine, which is really fucking hard to do. And if you add 1 and 9, that's 10. That's completion, right? But what's 8 and 1? 9. They're almost there. And the sad thing is, you know what the worst part is? Ugh, I'm going to give you this one. I'm so itchy all of a sudden. It's so weird. But all of a sudden, I got this like story of, I'm going to tell you really quickly. When I was in college, I had a really hard time. Well, all throughout my life, I struggled with math. And when I got to college, because I didn't do well in math in high school, they made me take like kind of like a like math class or whatever. Long story short, my professor was so wonderful. I was going to take the, you know, they're like, you know, you could take those online at like, or go to a community college. You don't have to pay that much to, I'm like, I don't have time for that shit. I'm like, fuck it. I'll just pay for it, whatever. So I just took it as like, it's part of my course. It's okay. Like what am I going to say? Oh, I'm not going to pay that much for draping because I can go and, you know what I mean? Like I was in fashion design. So my professor was this amazing math wizard. And I aligned with him in a way that like I've never aligned with a teacher like that before. He was so giving. He was so wonderful. And he made me realize that I wasn't bad at math. My brain was different. It wasn't even that they did all this testing on me for dyslexia and all these things. And I was like, I don't know why I'm like this. And he's like, no, and then he figured it out. And he goes, you're like this really beautiful puzzle. Your mind is this really beautiful puzzle. and it's very fast. It's lightning fast. And he just was so kind to me and loving and supportive. He was like a grandpa, just like, and I never felt like a zilch ounce of, and I went back to college in my late 30s, right? So I was a grown woman, and he never ever in any way, he was just that teacher that you wish you had for every subject of your life, you know? So anyway, he said to me something that like changed me forever. And he said that if each person was taught individually how to do math, you know, science, but like if each person apprenticed with one expert on something, and that expert knew how to get them excited about it, it would be easy, right? But not everybody is going to do that. And I feel like this person that you're dealing with, like maybe there's some things you have in common or some things they get excited about, but then like other things they like totally turn off, they shut off, or they have to be in control. They have to, you know, because I was getting that. And I feel like you control, they control, and then you're both fighting for control. And you're both brilliant, right? And you're both beautiful, wonderful souls. But, you know, it's like you're neck and neck in a race, but somebody has to win and somebody has to lose. And not that it is like that, right? But it could be a tie. It could be a tie. Ties happen. But they're not quite there yet. So, to round up this story, my next math teacher, they had me take this other math class, which I needed, you know, which was fine because I was, you know, measuring fabric and, you know, dealing with fractions and things like that. And so I was like, all right, I really do need to take this class. So then my next class, my teacher didn't teach that. And the teacher that taught it was younger than me. And it was their first time teaching on a college level. And instead of helping me, they were condescending to me. And I put up with it for a really long time. And then finally, one day, I graciously and lovingly put her in her place and in my class, because my school was an art school, so there was all different ages, all different genders, all different backgrounds, you know, it didn't matter, whatever you align with, you know, there's all different, you know, it was an art school, so there's a lot of very cool, interesting people. But, you know, even after that, one of my classmates came up to me and was like, dude, that was like awesome. She needed to like have that. And then finally, she pulled me out of class, and he said that I humiliated and embarrassed her. And I said, well, you've been doing that to me for days, and I'm not going to deal with that. You know, I'm like, that's not how you teach, and whatever. And so the interesting thing was we ended up becoming really close, and she like thanked me for being her teacher, right? And I had a perfect actually I had a higher than a 4.0. Every single one of my classes I was acing. I was in the, you know, the honor roll, all these things that I'd always wanted, because high school I flunked out. I was kind of a mess, right? Because I was an artist, I was a medium, I didn't know what the fuck I was. I was hearing voices, seeing things, feeling things that other people didn't, being thrown around rooms by demons. I had no idea what was happening. I was having demons taking over my body, had no fucking clue what was going on. I had to figure out a lot of things on my own. And you know, but people like my mythology teacher, speaking of, and you know, certain teachers, they changed my life, right? So at the very end of my time with her, I went to take my final, but I had all my finals and I was exhausted. I was so exhausted. I had to make all these clothes, I had to do all these things, and I was just exhausted. I didn't give a shit, you know. I already had an A in the class. And so when I went to take the test, everything jumbled. Nothing made sense to me. It was like math. It was like a foreign language that no matter what I did, I couldn't figure it out. I was exhausted. I had actually overstudied, filled my brain so full that I had no time for the actual test. And I was sitting there, and she could see that I was, you know, upset, and she came over and she whispered in my ear and she said, you need to take a break, you know, there's no time limit. And I was like, no, I'm good. And she's like, no, why don't you get up, go get some water, go take a walk. She's like, you have plenty of time. She's like, this isn't a time limit, just go ahead, take a walk. I'm like, okay. So I went and took a walk. I still smoked back then. I went by the river. I smoked my cigarette. I came back in and I was like, I gathered my stuff and I had the biggest smile on my face and I said, here you go. And because you have to show your notes, you know, it's all on computer, but I had to show my notes. And she looked at me with the saddest face and she goes, no, no. She can see on the computer. She goes, you're not even halfway done. I go, I don't need to be. She goes, it will bring your GPA down. She's like, this will give you a B. You'll lose your 4.0. I'm like, I don't give a shit. And she's like, I give a shit. She's like, you've worked. She's like, oh my gosh. And I was a student ambassador. I was all these things. And I said, no, you don't get it. I'm done. I'm not going to finish school. And she was like, what? And she's like, no, come on, let's talk about this. She's like, after class, we'll go out for lunch, like, blah, 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 you know, because she was only like 5 years younger than me. And I was like, no. I'm like, don't you get it? I'm done. I don't need a degree. I don't need to, you know, whatever. I'm like, I'm done. And in her mind, I was a 9. In her mind, I was lost in the dark and was like, what? And in my mind, I'm like, I got what I needed, man. I fucking got what I needed. I don't need to do that anymore. I had always wanted to go to college. I did it for a year and 9 months straight. To keep my scholarship, I had to go through all the way. I had to go through summer school, everything to keep my scholarship. So for a year and 9 months, all I did was work 2 jobs and go to school. I'm like, I'm done. I'm exhausted. And I know what I need to do. You know what I mean? When you're done, you're done. You don't have to finish something. You don't have to graduate. You don't have to be like, oh, you know, like I said this to my partner, you know, recently. I'm like, I love you with everything that I am. But, you know, 9 years I'm like, we don't have to stay together just because it's been 9 years. It's like, you're not going to win a medal or a trophy or whatever. It's like, and if you're married and you're like, I don't want to get a divorce, it's like, who cares? If you're miserable and you're unhappy, right? Or your family. I realized one by one over the years, I had to stop talking to everybody. I tried to cherry pick the people, but I couldn't, because even when I wasn't around those people, the other people would come into the conversation because they were still in their lives, but I wasn't in their life. And no matter what I did, I couldn't escape it. And I realized the only way for me to escape it is to not talk to anyone. And it wasn't for any other reason but to realize that I'm a fucking starseed. And I was born into that family to help with the ancestry and the lineage and all that. And I pray to God that it comes back around because I miss them. But if it doesn't, you know, it's like, this is my job. I love my partner, but if they're there and I'm here, I don't know. We haven't really, you know, we're still working on it. But, you know, I told him recently, I said, I'll give you till the end of the year. And then I realized, I'm like, what the fuck is that shit? I'm giving him a deadline? What am I? I'm like, what am I, his mother? What am I, his teacher? You know, it's not my, you know what I mean? Like, and what I realized is that it's going to work out the way it's going to work out. But I have to focus on myself. And recently I was blessed with this quote floating into my orbit. I believe it was from Einstein. And I'm paraphrasing, but basically they said, don't make your goal be about a person, place, or thing. Meaning, like, I realized that my partner and I have been putting all of our energy into us as a unit, as a family, and trying to find a home and like whatever. But what we were realizing, what we were missing and weren't realizing, is that we needed to just focus on ourselves and the rest of it would come together, you know? But we were trying to, you know, stick together, like trying to keep this together. And I was like, no, I'm like, I have to be good and he has to be good. And then like when we're good, it's like we share our lives together and we naturally intertwine, but then we are 2 separate entities here. You know, we're 2 separate energies. We're literally like light and dark, shadow, and you know what I mean? Like he was born on Sunday, a sun. I was born on Monday, the moon, you know? And so sometimes these people, some people call them twin flames, soulmates, whatever they are. You know, we're all soulmates. Like we're all soulmates, you know. But some of us we weave in between, and some of us we don't. and this is the time where, letting go is about helping them. Because if you love them, right? If you love something, you set it free. And if it comes back, it's part of you. But if it doesn't, it's not yours. And it never was. You know what I mean? Like, it was never meant to be there. So stop holding on to old ghosts, Spirit said. Wow, that's very heavy. Okay. So Charon, his responsibility was to ferry the souls of the dead over the rivers of death. And so he is what is called a psychopomp, a guide of the dead. I don't know if I'm pronouncing these words right. The two rivers he worked were the Styx and sometimes the Acheron, Acheron, the river of sorrow. These rivers separated the worlds of the dead and the living. Oh man, this is so heavy. So it was important that the newly dead were able to journey across safely. Also, Charon ensured that no dead traveled back the other way. Their responsibility was also for ferrying certain heroes and gods who were alive and had a task within the underworld. For example, Odysseus, Orpheus, Hercules, Dionysus, I always pronounce that, I don't know, Sisyphus, Sisyphus, and all were ferried by Charon, but were not dead. This was an inherently dangerous journey for the living with many perils, including falling into the waters themselves. Okay, that's very interesting. This is so interesting. The river Styx itself was highly magical and deadly and lethal to new souls and people who were alive. If anyone bathes in the Styx and survives, everywhere the water touches on that person becomes invulnerable. This is how Achilles became almost immortal after his mother dipped him in the Styx. All except the heel that she held him by. That small exclusion was his downfall, and he was shot by an arrow on that spot. Wow. What happened if the ferryman wasn't paid? Some myths say that the souls were left wandering indefinitely, but most suggest there was 100-year penalty until the soul could come to Charon and be taken across into the realm of the dead. The act of reciprocity, the payment for Charon's labor and care, became an important act in the respectful care of the dead. The plant companion is the poinsettia, and the crystal companion is Larimar. You know what is so fucking interesting, you guys? I have this piece of Larimar that was gifted to me by a beautiful angel. I'm like, the second I saw the stone, it was just like, I was like, I have to have that stone. And interestingly enough, the necklace broke, and to this day, like, both the pieces, like, it broke into two pieces, and I lost them both. Like, they were meant to find other people. It was really cool. I was using them as pendulums too. There's so much magic in them. Anyway, so, but this Larimar is so heavy right now because I washed it, I cleaned it. It's been like sitting with like these amplifiers, like this quartz crystal and selenite. So work with Larimar, and you might want to get yourself an amplifier. Larimar is one of those stones that they're very rare because, well, I want you to research it on your own, okay? Larimar, and let me see if you can see the screenshot. You see that? Also, you know what's interesting is poinsettias are beautiful, right? The Christmas plant, they call it. But they're very poisonous, highly poisonous to cats. And like literally, I think all animals, I actually think poinsettias are poisonous in general. So that could be something too, like something on the outside is really pretty, but it's poison on the inside. Like, I feel like that's a metaphor. So research poinsettia, spiritual meaning as well. Like, that's your homework. Work with the plant, the poinsettia. And it doesn't have to be Christmas to, you know what I mean? To use that plant, or you can, maybe you're meant to plant one now so that by the time Christmas comes, you know, or when you watch this, maybe you'll watch this months later. But Larimar, work with Larimar. Also, it's on page 58, which is the number 13. And interesting that they had me like look at the timestamp, and it was like a, you know, kind of like a 13 there. It was like the new beginnings too. There's a lot going on there. Okay, so we're gonna jump over to Nyx since it's the next page. Nyx 19, darkness. The darkness is necessary. It is the place of possibility and rest. It is natural and beneficial to experience some cycles of darkness. You can illuminate your way through dark times. Not everything unpleasant is evil. So your duality is the dark and the light, right? The light and the shadow. The embodiment of the night and the goddess Nyx. She was one of the primordial or original deities emerging at the very beginning of the universe. Her fathers were Chaos and or Phanes or Phans, Phanes, one of the oldest of the gods. She fell in love with Erebus, Erebus, darkness, and created Aether, Aether, light, and Hemera, day. So we have her fathers were chaos. So basically her fathers were powerful gods made from chaos. And she fell in love with darkness and created light and day. She self-created the infamous three fates, the Morai, as well as Apate, or Apate, A-P-A-T-E, which is deception, Dolos, Nemesis, and Dolos and Nemesis are balance and retribution. The Cares, K-E-R-E-S. I'm sure for my mythology people, if I'm just totally ruining these for you, I'm so sorry. Please feel free to correct me. There's so many in this book. I mean, honestly, maybe it's time for me to research their names better so I could. Okay, so there's so many. So they're saying all these really big names. So I'm going to say them as best as I can, and then what they're for, and then I'll go back over it, okay? So, Charis and Hesperides, Oizys, O-I-Z-Y-S, Misery, Momus, Doom, the Onir, oh boy, O-N-E-I-R-O-I, Onir, I don't know, Nightmares, Hypnos, Sleep, Thanatos, Death, Philotes, P-H-I-L-O-T-E-S, Friendship, Geras, G-E-R-A-S, Old Age, Aegis, Strife and Discord, and Charon, the ferryman of the underworld. So, she self-created the infamous three fates, and then she also created deception, balance, and retribution, right? Because if she created these three fates, and then they created these, right? So she's like the mother of this creation. And I feel like this is what they're trying to say to you. That's why I'm kind of cryptically saying this to you. So you are self-creating, you're channeling this energy, or she's urging you to channel this energy. Nyx is very much urging you to channel her energy. So getting the balance and retribution in order, which really retribution is forgiveness, because you don't want revenge. You know, as much as I love Taylor Swift and I love like that she's like, you know, she's telling people like, hey, you know, this is the way I did it. It's like at the same time, we don't want people going out and like, you know, I don't dress for women, I don't dress for men, I just dress for revenge. I mean, the lyrics are clever. It's a great fucking song. It's awesome. And, you know, she's standing up, but at the same time, that can be very, very dicey energy that you're putting out there. Somebody said that recently. They're like, as much as I love her, you know, but at the same time, she's not responsible for what somebody else does, right? So she's just putting it out into the universe. However that comes up, she's a fucking goddess. If people haven't figured that out by now, she is a goddess. She is a goddess embodied. I don't know if she's one, many, several, you know, prophet, deity. I mean, come on. You know, second coming of Christ and divine feminine embodiment. Who knows? Whatever it is, I'm sure in due time we will all know. And when we all die, we'll know. But right now, it's like we need to realize that retribution is a wonderful thing. You know, we want to get back, you know, that part of ourselves. We want to, you know, return ourselves back to whence it was. But at the same time, we're here to teach and learn and grow. And, you know, so when this is saying, you know, can this be salvaged? You know, it's like Spirit is saying to yourself, if you are the one, because what I get from this is you're watching this reading, right? So clearly you are light worker, starseed, you are here to, you know what I mean? And you're trying to figure out like, what's the I'm sorry if this is harsh, dead weight that's keeping you from your dreams and your whatever. And they're like, you know, you already know. But it's timing. It's when you're ready. I can't tell you, spirit can't tell you, nobody can tell you but you. When you're ready, you will know. However, you have a divine purpose. You chose this reading. You come from a divine creation of goddess. You are literally divine feminine here on this planet to help rise the divine feminine and bring the divine masculine back to balance. The divine masculines right now, they don't know what the fuck's going on. I said to my partner, I realized what was going on. I'm like, it was our divine masculines that were fighting, not our feminine. My chart is 70%. I am female embodied in this avatar. I love being a woman in this lifetime, and I've been both, but my chart is 70% masculine. Which means I had to learn and understand what it was like and be around a lot of masculine energy. All of the places that we've lived, we've had families of deer. Some have been more feminine, more female deer. Some have been a balance of both. And now we have all these bucks. Yesterday, wait till you see the footage. You'll have to, if you're not following me or subscribing to Lula's Life, please do, because I have so many beautiful things I've made for both these channels. I cannot wait to share them with you. But I've been watching these bucks grow, and their antlers have been amazing. And there's one that's like the leader for sure. And yesterday, Bubba came in and she was like, meow, 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 meow. And I thought she was just saying, because Alder just got home and she was excited. And I thought she was just like, give me attention, give me attention. And then I looked at her and I was like, what? I'm like, and she gave me the Garfield eyes of like, ugh, like, listen. And then I looked out the window and I'm like, oh, and wait till you see this footage, you guys. There were these bucks just right outside our door, like right, and Bubba's like, look, like, oh my gosh. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I feel, and it's the buck moon, like, come on. And the buck stops here. You are always going to go into the darkness to solve, and heal things that have been puzzling you, have been plaguing you. But staying there and staying in a constant heaviness of darkness with people who are in a very low vibration or who don't appreciate, respect, or honor your path, you have to fucking go. Now. This is the year. After the year of the dragon is the year of the snake. There's no fucking accident about that. There's no accident about that. You have to shed that skin. You have to let it go, okay? So you're coming from goddess energy of balance, new beginnings, light, day, and darkness. I mean, that's so powerful. But also misery, doom, nightmares, death, friendship, strife and discord, right? And then here we're talking about, the ferryman to the underworld. I mean, come on. That's pretty serious stuff. So, in the Orphic tradition, Uranus, Ouranos, the god of the sky, was also a child of Nyx. She, interesting how we're staying in the feminine there, she is often referred to as the Dark Mother in Greek mythos. Elementally, a first goddess who begat many other important deities, the protogenos. Ooh, that's very heavy. Okay. The protogenos. I don't know what those are. I wonder if that's in the book here. I wonder if there's like a card. I'm gonna look and see. I feel like I kind of know what that word means, but I don't know for sure. So that's for us to look up on our own. Let me find it so you can see it. Protogenos. Where did I see that? Oh, here it is. Protogenos. And feel free to comment below. I know some of you guys like to research and put that below. So if you want to research and put it below, that's fine. If not, you're not meant to. People are just meant to find it on their own. But that's really powerful. Okay, so as she is one of the oldest and strongest of the Greek deities, even in the mighty Zeus, Oh, excuse me. As she is one of the oldest and strongest of the Greek deities, even the mighty Zeus is said to not provoke her after angrily chasing Hypnos into Nyx's cave after being tricked by him and his own wife Hera. Zeus would go no further than the entrance. Looking at most of her progeny. Oh, I think that's like her her progeny. Is that like her like what she's created? It would be easy to think. Oh, drink some water. Drink some water. Heavy stuff. Also, they wanted me to show you that like Larimar is found by the sea in the Dominican Republic. I don't think that they have anymore. But do you see how dry and decrepit this looks? We've been talking about this one for a while. But they want you to see like, that's like, I feel like this is how your soul is feeling. It's okay, it's just water. This is how your soul is feeling, but they want you to like unveil and reveal what's underneath. What is underneath? You know, like you have veins, you have, let's see if this one, I feel like this one, I like, oh no, we did this one the other time. That's what you're saying. Yeah, this is meant to, they want you to see like what's inside of you, like what's inside. It's almost like you've forgotten what's inside of you. Oh, that almost looks like a face, doesn't it? 2 eyes and a nose. That there's so much more below the surface. You know, it's like you can go into the darkness for teaching and learning. Yes, of course. Of course, that's what they want. They want us to learn and grow and evolve. But if we just stay, oh, you should see this water pattern. That's cool. But if we, it looks like a monkey. I don't know if that means anything to anybody. I feel like the year of the monkey, either you're the year of the monkey or the person that you're dealing with is the year of the monkey. Because that shape literally looked like a monkey to me. Like a slinky spider monkey. But yeah, I mean, this is like some heavy shit. And you've been in the darkness for so long. And I'm telling you from personal experience, as much as I love my partner, there were moments last night where I'm like, I was feeling good. And, you know, he's like, you know, like, I love you. I want to move forward. Like, you know, we could take breaks and stuff. And then I looked at him and I said, I need a lot of time by myself. Like, I'm telling you right now that I don't know. I'm like, you may want to think about seriously finding somewhere to live right now. Like, or you can take this and I'll look for some, you know, I kind of threw out the breadcrumbs. He's throwing out the breadcrumbs and we're just like, you know, kind of, or I should say spirits throwing the breadcrumbs to us and we're figuring out our way. But, you know, sometimes you do have to like fully get out of someone's orbit for a long period of time. I mean, we didn't have contact at all for a week. He left on Saturday and came back. He left Saturday, like mid afternoon or mid whatever noon, and then he didn't come back until last night at like 7. And it was such a glorious time of just like 5 solid days of no contact, not talking, not seeing each other, and it was life-changing. Not just a vacation, not, you know what I mean, like, because what I realized is I'm like, you need time to work on you when it's just you, no work, no, you know what I mean, like, I'm like, you know, I was like, because his work is like different. He's dealing with people, I'm dealing with you guys, but it's on a completely different level. So it's the same for you. You know, you need to be completely away from this person. And for some of you, with the family member, you know, if they don't understand, then I know this is going to be rough, but tough shit. You know, like it's not your job to make people feel comfortable, secure, happy. You know what I mean? That's a total inside job. That is their thing. You know what I mean? Look at how it wanted to go over here by you. And Larimar is about the water energy. So you could be a water sign too. All right, what else do we have? We're almost wrapping up your reading here. Okay. So looking at most of her progeny, it would be easy to think that Nyx is evil. Or that, yeah, her progeny, like what she, yeah. Or that her darkness could have a negative judgment. Nyx should not be viewed this way. Winged and beautiful, Nyx is simply the night. No judgment on whether that is better than the day. Paradoxically, she creates light and day. She brings balance with Nemesis, Philotes, and the Charos. She brings rest with Hypnos and Thanatos. Nyx just represents the darker nature of how the world works. So when she's saying she brings balance with nemesis, I wanted to give you their keywords. Oh, that's what she's saying. Oh, that's their name. Okay, got it. Right? So she's saying their names with it. So she brings balance with nemesis, philotos, and charis, and then she brings rest with hypnos and thanatos. And she represents the darker nature of how the world works. And then the plant companion is the night blooming jasmine. Ooh, and the crystal companion is onyx. Okay. Wow, I think your reading was about an hour. I think I started this. Wow, this was really intense. But I'm really proud of you guys. You hung in there. You know, I really hope that these messages have helped you in any way. I don't know if they want to pull any more cards. Let me see. Do we want to pull? You didn't have. Oh, okay. So we're going to do a little smudging. I thought we were going to do it with the other one, but it's meant to go here. Okay, so we're going to do a smudging. And when you can, I want you to get yourself some sage, okay? Clary sage is fine, but sage, this, I feel like, ooh, look at that. The Larimar, like, wanted to be closer. Okay, so I have a lot in there, but this is the one that wanted to go in there. So right now, I want you to take a moment and take a few breaths. Close your eyes, keep them open, whatever works for you. And I want you to think about cutting the cord with this person in a way, you know, that's in your greatest and highest good, their greatest and highest good. You don't have to do the cord cutting right now if it doesn't feel right. If you don't know what a cord cutting ceremony is, you need to, you know, research that when you're ready. But the only way that for some of you, like some of you, you don't need to. Some of you, you're like, no, I'm good. I'm done. I needed to hear that. You know what I mean? Like, that's cool. Thank you. And some of you, you're like, it's just the thought of it, you know, I mean, especially if it's a parent in a lifetime, it's super hard. I mean, I'm not going to, I've done it. So I understand. I really do. And our stories are different, but I understand. So thank you, Sage. We are going to, with this fire energy, burn away all that which no longer serves your greatest and highest good and the greatest and highest good of your loved ones. Now, we cannot take away their free will. I cannot take away your free will. All we can say is we call upon the higher self of those that were called into the energy of this reading. And we call upon your higher self, of course. They're already here. But we just ask with grace and gratitude that you cleanse their space and their energy of that which no longer serves their greatest and highest good. Whatever, it's their free will. But we want to help them and bless them. Thank you, Spirit. This one's like, it's interesting. This one felt more calm. I almost feel like you're the chaotic energy in them. You know what's interesting is, I said this to my partner yesterday. I said, you know what's interesting? I said, when you were gone, I said, I'm so calm. But when he's here, I find myself like, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to, and then I realized that it's because a lot of our relationship is tied into the energies of my past with my family and my friends that were really harsh and really intense in terms of, like, I was raised that, you know, what are you doing? Don't just sit around and watch TV. There's got to be something you could be doing. You know what I mean? There's this person that I follow. I can't remember her. I think if I remember, I'll put it in the, always look in the description box in the comment section for extra little pearls of wisdom from Spirit. But I think she's the holistic therapist or something. But anyway, but she does all these really funny shorts, these cute little shorts about, you know, energy and dealing with our families and our friends and stress. And also look at how there's this, I almost feel like I wanted to like have like a barrier around you, you know? Oh, because that's what it feels like. It feels like you're like this ethereal being, like floating, and like you're just like so connected to the energies of the universe. It's, I mean, you're fucking, dude, you're Nyx. Like, this is you. This is your embodiment. And research Nyx further if you really, really want to. Like Isis, I mean, Isis has been you know, she's my girl, right? Like, I've been working with her so closely for such a long time recently. A lot of different things have come into my orbit. It's been really, really interesting. So, you know, and this person, you know, they're still in an old energy, an old world, and they may or may not ever leave it. And, you know, it could be, if it's a family member, just somebody you see once in a while. But if you're talking to them, you're like, oh, I only see them once a year, I don't give a shit. If you're still talking to them weekly, monthly, you know what I mean? Like, it's not. Because what happens is, until you're fully healed from things, and you know what I mean? It's like, it's going to keep triggering you. And it's really hard to heal when you're constantly being triggered. Especially if you go on a vacation, you feel great, and you come back and you're like, oh, it's the same. Or you don't see them for a while, and then when you see them, it's like it takes you like a fucking month to recover from that visit. Do you know what I mean? That's your precious time on this planet, and you don't know how much you have. So think about that. Think about, like, where do you want to put your time and energy? Where do you want to put your time and energy? Speaking of, the Apophyllite wanted to come in. Where do you want to, you know, in magic and cool shit? You know what I mean? Like spirit and Lemurians, and you know what I mean? Like, do you want to like that? Or do you want to be like in constant like defense mode with labradorite, which is, I love labradorite, but you know, you want to be constantly fighting, you know, something like that. Also work with bloodstone. Interestingly enough, moonstone, there have been some crystals that have been like just really like coming into my orbit the last few days. And then I watched this reading, and they were like, every stone they said that I've been working with. The other ones I don't have, but it was so interesting. So if you're being called by your crystals, like, talk to your crystals, talk to your stones. They have energies, personalities, like, you know what I mean? They have something to tell you. They have something to say. Listen. And remember what Cher said at the beginning of your reading. You are strong enough. You can do this. You can do this. I believe in you. Keep following the breadcrumbs and you'll find your way. All right, you guys, I think that's it. Do you want to pull any more cards for it? No, that's it. All right. Woo, I'm really proud of you. I love you. Spirit loves you. You got this. 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 And remember, work with the old wise owl medicine. Come from wisdom of your soul knowledge and not emotion, and it'll be a lot easier. And that's a little wink, wink from the owl medicine. All right, you guys. I'll see you next time. I love you so much. Welcome, reading 2. Okay, so our question is, can this relationship be salvaged, or is it time to start over? So you, so far, you're the second one, but in the first one we only read from the Deep, Dark, and Dangerous, but then I was called to bring in my deck. So this was a handmade deck that I created some time ago, and I used cute little, it's really huge actually, look how big this deck is, and they're all different words, pictures, time frames. It's got a lot of different things, but interesting that there's nothing, because they're note cards, right? But interesting that when I open it, it's here. I was gonna wait, but it's like, oh, and I had this cute little thing I was doing. I was trying to do, like, you know, like the frog and the moon, because it looks like, you know, Toad the Red Sprocket's looking up, you know, like he's looking up at the moon. They don't really have, I guess I could do it. Here we go. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's what they were trying to show me. I was like, I wanted it to be up, you know, like up above. Anyway, when I was putting this together, I felt so many different things that, if it's okay with you, I'm just going to jump in and just kind of tell you what was coming through. I just posted, actually, a shorts recently. It was from a Cher song called You Haven't Seen the Last of Me, from the musical movie Burlesque. And if you haven't seen Burlesque, it is free on YouTube, I think, for the rest of this month. In real time, it's July 20th, 2024, and blessed full moon in Capricorn. Earth energy, just like this is earth energy. But I just started, like, all these things were like flooding in. So I'm going to try and do my best to stay as focused as possible, but also, you know, just grab the messages when they come in. Also, I feel like someone's grandmother, this was my grandmother's, and it like fell off of my thing like when I was getting ready, and I felt like, so I feel like this is a message from your grandmother. At least for one person, you were really close to your grandmother. I feel like for mine, like my grandmother was very eccentric and beautiful and amazing, and like I love that she wore this, you know, and every time I wear it, somebody compliments me on it. But anyway, my grandma was really famous for being an original, and patience, I should say, was never her virtue, but actually it became her virtue in the end. But that's another story for another day. But interesting that I was pulling together things that I was drawn to for you, but then also like things that were earth energy. And the snail wanted to come in, and snails are all about patience, which is so interesting. So let's see what your deep, dark, dangerous oracle is. It could even just be that it's just that word. We'll see if we, you know, go any further than that. But okay, Spirit. So is this relationship, so you obviously know, you, if you clicked on this, I mean, this reading, you know, this isn't for the broken hearted, right? Like this is a no bullshit, what do I need to hear, I just tell it to me straight kind of reading. So if you're here, you know, for just no reason at all, I can't imagine that you are, do you know what I mean? Because I kind of feel like if you're here, there's a relationship in question. So only you, each of you individually, can decipher what that relationship is. In reading one, there were two types of relationships that were very prevalent. But that doesn't mean that somebody couldn't have picked something out, you know, that goes with something else. But, you know, but we don't want to go in and just pick out the things that we want to hear. We want to hear the whole story. Also, my throat chakra is so fucking tight. Oh my gosh, my throat chakra is so tight. My throat chakra is so tight. I feel like somebody's trying to choke me. Right? Because you're like, how much more fucking patience can I have? How much more patience can I have? I feel you. I understand and get you. I really, with everything that is holy, I understand, right? Like, Tiger's Eye is your best friend right now. It's one that's been coming up a lot. The crystals have been speaking to us again. It's almost like I feel like the crystals are like, what do you think we're here for? Like, what do you think we came here for? Like, we're here for a purpose. Like, you know, use our energy. Okay, so work with that. Where do you want to go? Oh, maybe put that up there. Okay. And any other crystals that are here, they're here for a reason. So if you know what it is, work with it. If not, you can ask me. But right now I'm not being drawn to introduce them. So what message? Okay, for the questions that are being asked in reading 2, Toad the Wet Sprocket, our earth energy. Okay, Spirit. Oh, that's what they wanted me to say, was that I had a really tough time putting this together because, ironically, if you came here because you are an earth sign, Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo, you know, this may be your medicine, of course, but just so you know, when I was setting this up, I got a really strong feeling that it's because you need to get grounded. Right? So if you didn't watch the introduction of this, you might want to go back and watch the introduction of this reading. I did some downloads, some sound healing, and then we worked with, you know, each individual. Like, there's so many reasons. So it's, you know, you may have chosen because it's the frog. You may have chosen because it's earth energy. Like, I'm not really sure. But anyway, if that helps. Okay. So I'm interested to hear. So that makes sense with the patience, right? Because if you're not grounded, so Spirit, reading 2 is asking, can the relationship with this person be salvaged? Okay, wow. That is an interesting, fierce. There's so many things happening in this card right now. This is a newer deck to me, and I don't even know what this means or what this is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, in terms of, you know, some people like really study the books and stuff, and I give them so much credit. But I don't always. Some I do. Some I'm really drawn to. But so let's see. Let me put my glasses on. I'm like, oh my gosh. Well, because there's a lot of, the interesting thing is this is an earth energy, but I feel like there's a lot of air signs here, or there's just a lot of air energy. And the throat chakra is about communicating, and I feel like there's a lot of you that aren't communicating. Okay. Oh, number 30, discipline. Okay, so right out the gate, I got, can this relationship be salvaged? Yes. If both of you, one or both of you, but I feel like there's always going to be one person who's a little bit, sometimes you're tied. It's really cool when that happens, but right now there's definitely an off balance in this relationship with this person. So I'm feeling like if you you put a little tiger's eye behind that snail's butt, you know what I mean? You can help. There is such a thing as overhelping. It's called controlling. And it's overhelping is a nice form of saying that is controlling, because sometimes people just need to figure shit out on their own, and so this person's on their own trail, their own path, their own trajectory. And I feel like there's a lot of joyful playfulness. I will be honest, I felt a lot of fairy energy when I started this. I felt so much playful, joyful energy. However, I feel like when you get together with this person, like whether it's friend, family, coworker, or whatever it is, could be an animal, there's like this really cool energy where you just want to play and have fun and whatever, and it's super awesome, and spirit respects and appreciates that. But you also have to have discipline, right? Like this dude is like, right? Like that takes discipline to be that strong and that fierce, right? Like it takes a lot of discipline. And so if you don't have it right now, or they don't have it right now, that could be, part of the reason why this is happening. So number 30, I'm going to go to this. Number 30. By the way, just so you know, if some of you were drawn to reading 1, it's only because the book opened up to it, and we worked with the number 18. The word was reciprocity, and Charon, Charon. Only if it clicks. If it doesn't, don't go there, because remember these really are so individualized. That's why I call them readings instead of pick a card or pick a pile, because they're different readings. They're so different, and it's not just like, oh, let's do this, or let's oh, there goes the throat chakra again, drinking water. See, like I hear, like for some of you right now. All right, here it comes. Hope you're ready for the tough medicine. If you're not, leave, put a pin in this and come back later, okay? Because this is some tough medicine. Your wandering eyes, your wandering head. Yeah, I'm feeling a lot of air energy here, which is so interesting, which is Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. So it could be you, it could be the person that you're dealing with, like that they're just like all over the place. And I'm hearing if you just have patience with them and like allow them to grow at their own pace, it will be the most beautiful relationship you've ever had. However, in the interim, it's really important that you go at, your pace. Do you ever see the snail in the hair or whatever? What is that? Oh, did you see that? So as I was saying that, the cards went and I saw yes. So if some of you were asking a question, it was yes. And then it was be who you are upside down. So you need to be who you are. Have fun. I've never done this with my cards, and I feel like this is like a new thing, and it's so fun, and I'm exploring it here with you today reading too. How fun. But it's like, see this energy? Like, it's like a snail, basically. Like snails and slugs move at kind of a slow pace, but they could go faster, right? But if you go too fast, you're going to fall off the edge, and you might get hurt, you might not, I don't know. But it's like maybe right now I feel like you're the snail, and you're like, I'm going at such a slow pace, and they're like, yeah, but maybe you're going too slow, and if you're waiting for this person, it's like until you both have the discipline. I'm channeling, but also I'm feeling so much like it's like it's so interesting. It's just so interesting, like how all relationships are intertwined, right? Like I have my own life too, so I'm having these aha moments through mine, through my connections with my friends, family, and animals and all that kind of stuff. Because right now the animals are going through stuff too. People forget that, especially the familiars. My familiar, Baba, she's going through so much right now. I've never seen her go through anything like this, ever. She's molted before, but this is like a whole other ball of wax. So I've had to be extremely patient with her. She's like, sick all the time. There's chunks of her fur. It's like everything's dirty. I can't keep anything clean. You know what I mean? My husband is a mechanic, and I'm like this crisp white, like, my cute little, like, you know what I mean? And like, I'm like, honey, you gotta wash. I'm like, there's like grease on your ear. And he's like, like, Timmy doesn't care. I'm like, I care. I'm like, I sleep in the same bed with you. I don't want grease on my pillow, So it could be like getting into that. And I asked him very graciously, I said, when I ask you something, or if something's bothering me, instead of making me feel bad about it, or you feeling put out by it, I'm like, can you just be like, thank you for helping me, get more organized. Thank you for having me have more discipline. Right? So it just depends. Like, I feel like this relationship is malleable, which means that it can be formed. It's like I feel like there's so much awesomeness happening between you and this person. It definitely feels like a person. It could be family, it could be friends, and I am feeling a lot of animal energy too. So they're just saying, like, but how can you find a way to mold it together, right? So that you can work as one. I'm going to read a little bit from the book, number 30. And then I'm going to ask for a clarifier card. And we may get some. I mean, if some fall, we'll see what happens. I feel like I'm almost like, don't even want to put too much pressure on it. Like, I'm just going to let the tiger's eye go down here. Which I feel like that should be there anyway. And tiger's eye is so perfect for this right now. And it's a great stone for your front. Oh, look at that. I guess there's no more messages there. That's our message. I love it. Okay. So I don't know how to pronounce this. I'm going to try Myrmidon. Myrmidon? Develop or engage your self-discipline. Use your will to get a difficult task completed. Work together as a team. See, so here we are. And interesting how there's more than one person. I mean, think about it. If this discipline card was just for you, it would probably just be one individual. So clearly, when we're asking if this relationship can be salvaged, it could even be a work thing. It could be like where you're like, I'm ready to leave this job. This is the first time it's come up, so this could be for some of you. And they're like, but what if you pulled in a few more people to help you? Because you're like, I'm disciplined. You're like, yes, but you can't like break yourself off into 4 different people. You need help. You need to sleep. You need to eat. You need to, you know what I mean? You need to play. You need to have fun and enjoy your life. But like, how do you bring the discipline into yourself, right? Because you can't change the other person. That's an inside job. So they're saying if you can get the discipline for yourself, for whatever it is you're missing, whatever it is you need, and if they want more clarifiers, we'll go through the deck. But it could just be, oh, there goes the, oh, right, because when you get too involved, like, it fucks everything up. Like, maybe this person just really needs to go at their own pace, right? They're just like, God, let me be a snail. Like, maybe they're like, I'm a snail too. But we're just not from the same snail galaxy. I don't know how to explain it, but you get where I'm going with that. Okay. So, drink more water. Also, I'm hearing get grounded, get in nature. Some winged creature just flew in here. It might be a fly. It might be a bee or hornet. We'll see if it surfaces again. Let me see. Oh, it's a fly. So work with fly spirit medicine. Fly does have spirit medicine, All living beings have some form of medicine. Okay. So, okay. I love that. Work together as a team. There is a time to go solo and a time to work with others to achieve a goal. Developing self-discipline can also assist with learning and leadership. Embody the change you wish to see. Also, I'm hearing for your own personal story, like, this kind of came through with the other reading too. This could read for someone, or at least one of you, where this is your own person. Like, this is you, you know? Is this relationship worth salvaging? Because maybe you're like, is there parts of me that I still want to retain and hold on to from the old version of me? Or is it, you know what I mean? Like, I know for myself, over the last week, I spent alone, and it was so gratifying, and I learned so much about myself and remembered who I was. And I'm like, this is who I am. This is what I do. This is my magic. This is what I bring to the world. This is, you know, it's like, and it's taken me, you know, a decade of discipline and change and suffering and sacrificing and you know, totally changing the complete trajectory of my existence. It took more discipline and patience than I even knew I had. I'm totally straight with you. So this is your wake-up call. And also, in the beautiful words of RuPaul, right? If you don't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love anybody else? So, you know, it could be that you're like relying on another person or people. Maybe it's a job, maybe it's a group of friends, it could be a family, you know, because they're holding you up. And Spirit's like, but you need to be the only one holding you up. They're always going to be there to back you. I also feel like these, because they're kind of like in the distance, I almost feel like they're spirit guides, like, you know, like different forms of yourself, right? Because we're really just all one being. So I feel like it's almost like there's like different forms of you. Also, remember, whenever there is an energy that is like in front of us like this masculine, this is a divine masculine for a reason. Right? For a reason. So it could be that you need to have more discipline with your divine masculine. Maybe there's something going on. I wanted to, you know how he's got his little hands? I just heard, you got the whole world in your hands. But at the beginning of this, I heard that Cher song from Burlesque. And so I did a shorts for it. I'll put it in the comments below if Spirit calls me to. But it was really cute. It was with Jellyfish, and it was from a Cher song from Burlesque. And maybe you're meant to like watch that. Maybe it's for some of you that you're like, but I've been disciplined. I've been dancing. I've been singing. I'm a triple threat, and I still haven't made it. I'm 42 years old, and I still haven't made it. And Spirit's like, why is there a time limit? Why is there an age limit? I'm 52, and I've been avidly working on my goals and my creative side again. And I started to realize, I'm like, I don't care if I make it or whatever. I just want to do what I love, and I want to share it with people. And maybe it's time to like shift your thinking too. You know, maybe these relationships can be salvaged if you shift your way of thinking. I'm feeling this really strong like dance partner. So it could be like an actual real dance partner, or it could be like your significant other, or somebody who feels like you're yin to your yang. It could be your best friend. It could be a family member. There's definitely a connection there. So I love that it says, so there's a time to go solo and time to work with others to achieve a goal. Developing self-discipline can also assist with learning and leadership. Embody the change you wish to see. So the duality is discipline and chaos, individuality and the group. Okay? So it says, among the most powerful fighting forces in the ancient world were the men that fought under the great demigod Achilles at Troy. It's so interesting. We spoke of the Achilles tendon in reading 1. Isn't that interesting? Right? Who's your Achilles heel? Are you your own Achilles? You know what I mean? If you don't know what that means, research it, okay? Achilles, Achilles. And these are all like gods and goddesses and things like that, so it won't be hard to find. Okay, so Achilles at Troy. The other Greeks were said to be amazed at the group of brave, identically dressed soldiers who fought without fear, had incredible discipline, and were as numerous as ants. These men were known as the Myrmidons, from the word ant. Oh my gosh, and can I tell you, I've been like having these ants like lately. Like, we live by ant, you know, hills and all that kind of stuff. It's not that. It's like, no, I feel like this was for you guys. So research the ant spirit medicine as well, okay? Because it's such a great metaphor for this right now. It's so perfect. There are a number of myths concerning the origin of such men. The most well known is that they were originally from an island called Aegina, Aegina, or Aegina, which was named after a lover of Zeus and his wife Hera. um, it was named after a lover of Zeus, and so his wife Hera decided to wreak some revenge on the inhabitants. After all, the king of the island was a son of Zeus. Hera sent a plague to kill at the inhabitants, and she killed almost everyone except for the king and his sons, who had prayed to Zeus for help. Zeus agreed that the king needed people to rule and saw that the island's ants had not been affected by the sickness. Zeus transformed the ants into people, and they were referred to as the Myrmidons. Like ants, these transformed people were fierce, strong, and intensely loyal to each other and their leader. Their king's sons, Peleus, Peleus, and Telamon, Telamon, ended up being exiled from the island by their father, but each took a fighting force of brown armored Myrmidons with them. The first son of Peleus was Achilles, who inherited a fighting force of Myrmidons that he led and fought beside the combination of the outer worldly strength and speed of Achilles and the efficiency and obedience of his forces made Achilles unbeatable on the beaches of Troy. Sadly, they could not save their leader from being shot in his only vulnerable spot, his heel, and he was killed. So while developing discipline seems an unfashionable process in today's world, there is no doubt that having self-discipline develops character and assists with time management and the achievement of goals. In some ways, paradoxically, developing a schedule that guides us enables us to have more freedom and time, not less. Oh, that's so powerful. It's so true. So each of these come with a crystal and a plant companion. So the plant companion is the peony. We just finished peony season. But you can maybe plant one or find, one to work with. Or you can just research the spirit medicine. And the crystal is the bronzite. Okay. Which is interesting because this crystal wanted to come out, but I don't think it's bronzite. But when I look at it, if you know what it is, please mention below. One of our soul sisters got this one for Alder and this one for me, and I don't remember now. One was for sleep and one was for something else. I don't remember what she said they were. I should have had to write them down. Anyway, but definitely. I'm feeling like working with brown energy, so like earth energy, right? Like soil, clay. I'm also feeling for some of you, you've been looking for a hobby or something to do. I heard take a pottery class or something that you work with your hands or learn how to grow plants or, take an herbal class, something like that. Maybe you've already been leaning towards that direction. By the way, this is why it's so hard to read because it's super small and I have glasses and it's like I got a print behind it. So I'm like, really? It's like, but it's good. It's good. So this one is calling to me. Oh my gosh, 29 werewolf. What? I feel like someone is that's why the moon kept going around. So are you a werewolf or is this person that you're dealing with like a werewolf? Like and don't laugh. They're real. They are fucking real. Now, some can actually shapeshift, but a lot of people just change when the moon comes, right? Like they change their energy, they change their, So they had me move the pyrite over to here next to the jade with the amplifier of the clear quartz crystal and the amethyst for a reason. Because this is your outcome. Jade and pyrite are all about money, good fortune, good luck, like all that good stuff. It's the year of the dragon right now. The next year is the year of the snake, so we'll shed that skin, But the dragon has given us the fierce energy to, hold space when we need to. But also, yes, getting a schedule is really, really good, especially in the morning, like when you first wake up, like, having that connection. When my partner was not here for a week, every day was different, but I still kind of did the same things. I just didn't do them in the same order. I just did the same disciplines. Like some mornings I woke up, I'm like, oh, it's beautiful outside. I'm going to walk outside and go for a walk outside. And then, then I'll meditate. And then, or some mornings I wake up and I'm laying there and I'm like, oh, I just want to meditate, you know. And then some mornings I wake up, I turn on my phone, and I'm called to create. It just depends. And so don't limit yourself. You know, it's like you can still have a schedule. You know, it's just make sure that you make time for those other things. Some of you may do better, though, with a very regimented schedule. Like, right, like the werewolf. The werewolf, you know, goes by the moon, by the full moon. Oh, right, like it goes by the moon. And for most of us light workers and starseeds, we on this planet we go by the outer energies, the moon, the sun, you know. So I spoke of this before, and I'll say it again. I was born on a Monday, a moon day. My partner was born on a Sunday, you know, a Sunday. He's more of a day person. I'm more of a night person, you know. And when he wasn't here, there were some nights I'd work till 4 a.m, and I loved it, and I didn't have to worry about being quiet, or, you know. So it could even be that maybe, you know, this is about your roommate or who you live with or something, where they're trying to help you find a way to, like, you know, work with what you have in your space and all that. 2:15:11, it's like it froze in time. So if that means anything, so it could be angel numbers, but you know, there's semicolons in between them. So 2, you know, 2 duality, 15, you know, you can look at that any way you want, which is the number 6, which also is the 30 derives from that. And then 11, you know, the angel number. So what is that? So 2, what is that? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ooh, completion. Interesting. It's not yet at completion. Okay, that's what they're trying to say. Okay, so it's not, this relationship is not yet at its completion. So there's no need to start over. However, I do feel like we may have, let me see if there's any more questions before. I just want to make sure. Spirit, are there any more because I felt like I wanted to, before we go into the werewolf, I just wanted to see, are there any clarifiers on the discipline for some people, or a time frame or something? Is there anything? Okay, so this is this card's seen its day. This is romantic love. So I feel like for some of you, the romantic love, the discipline is going to make all the difference in the world. And you know, have you ever heard that term, if you loved me, you do this, if you love me, you do that? That doesn't work here. It doesn't work here. Don't hold love hostage with this person. You know, don't give a time frame, because people all go at their own pace. So you worry about you. And then, you know, a lot of times if this is truly your person, or if this is truly your friend or whatever, you know, then they're going to change, because they are going to want to change, because they're going to see how much you change, and they know that they need to be a better version of themselves. And you know what? We do inspire each other, right? I'm inspiring you, right? Well, Spirit is. I'm the medium. We're inspiring you, just like you inspired me to put this together, to build this beautiful, you know, fun altar for you. But this is like old shit. This werewolf is like, I feel like this is like, darn it. It's like, oh, I'm gonna peek up here again. Oh, you know what I mean? It's like, me. That cannot do. And just because someone's a werewolf doesn't mean that they can go and, you know, it's like, you can't tell someone you love them and then like rip them to shreds. You know, that's not love. And that's something I really learned recently. So that's a message for all of us. Okay. Oh, it's a good thing. Way to go. They're like, it's a good thing, right? This is a good thing. Like, what's going on with this person? It's a good thing. It really is. It's actually, whomever this is, or this group of people, you know, whatever this is, it's a good thing, but you really do need to bring love into the situation. And once you do, it's like, it's going to be like, way to go. It's because I feel like Spirit's like, way to go. Like, you got this, because you're bringing love in. Okay. Any more messages from my deck, Spirit? One of these days, I'm going to laminate these. I keep saying I'm going to do it because they're... Oh, here we go. Okay. Small steps. Yes. Small steps every day. Small steps every day. I was having a hard time trying to figure out how to make these stickers because they were clear. So I had to put a black marker behind it. Right? And also, black is a great color for protection. It's not depressing. It's a color for protection. That's why they wore them to funerals. to protect against the spirits and the souls in the graveyard. Seriously, there's a lot of like interesting things that people don't know about. Black is for protection, okay? And then on the other side, it says, never look back. Yes. Don't keep going back to who you used to be. Be the disciplined person that you are, and don't go back to these, you know, and when you feel the wolf coming out of you, when you feel like whatever, like full moons, I told my partner, I'm like, I think you should leave like the week before the full moon. I'm like, I'm fucking serious. I'm like, I'm not even joking around. I was hoping that they would not come back until after the moon, but luckily they've got work, they have things going on, so it's not going to affect me. And I feel like I got so much out already. Maybe I'll get more out, but I'm definitely feeling like that there's something here with patience, and you know, also I feel like this person really has your back. And then these two just came out. They like were kind of stuck together. It says, nice job. So another form of that, and great things. And because I know what this says, I want all of you right now to ask one particular question about this situation. Okay? Because there's so many people and everybody has their own whatever. What is the question that you have pertaining to this person that's been coming up this whole reading, or this group of people, whatever this is? Is there a question that you needed? Because I was hoping for a clarifier, and here it is. Okay, do you have your question? If you don't, pause, get quiet, close your eyes, meditate, connect with spirit to get your question. You ready? Okay, the answer is no. But I also heard not right now. On. And these could be initials too, O and N. Okay? Because it kind of came out like this, but when I first saw it, it was no. Okay? So if that helps, that's your answer. I almost feel like somebody said, should we work out together or something? And I heard no, because it's their thing, or like, I feel like, okay, maybe it's something like you're trying to do something with them. Maybe you're trying to do spirit work. I don't know what it is, but I feel like you're trying to force feed this person or this group of people to your ways or your idea. And spirit's like, that's why it's not working. Because you keep trying to change them. And they're like, it's not your job to change them. Like, this is their show. This is their destiny, right? So, fortune favors the bold. I love it. Fortune favors the bold. And follow your heart. Okay? And that's it. I don't feel like they want me to read anymore, even though the werewolf has a thing. If they call me to put it in the community section, I will. But I feel like the werewolf was like kind of a metaphor, you know, for a lot of things too. And also because of the full moon and stuff, that's very, very interesting. So follow your heart, and fortune favors the brave. So keep discipline. Fortune favors the brave. Patience. Oh my gosh, look at that. It's on the other side of there. Is there anything on the back of there? Nope. So this one fell out, and I'm wondering if this is shorts. So let me see if they want. I think this is for shorts. I think, or it's for other readings. So, okay, Spirit, I just want to confirm, do we want to read the werewolf? Do we want to read from the book right now? Oh, no, but they said definitely go look in the community section, because they have a plant and a crystal that goes with that as well. And if you're drawn to that, then you'll go and look in the community section. And if you're not, then it's not meant for you. Okay? All right, you guys, do we have any more messages for this Earth reading today, Spirit, for Toad the Wet Sprocket? Oh yeah, I had a surprise little visitor, a little frog visitor the other day, and I'm going to be posting a video on Lula's life, so make sure to go and check that out. All of my information is all over this channel if you would like to reach out and work with me one-on-one, or if you would like to contribute to all the work that I do here. It is never accepted. Whoa! It is never accepted. Well, I guess so. Forget it. Bye-bye. No, I was going to say it's always appreciated, but never. What's what I was going to say? You know why? It's because I took it for someone else, and I thought it was such a nice way to say it. But what I meant to say is, it's never, I don't expect it, but it's always appreciated. So there are many forms of an exchange of energy for this reading today. So whatever caused you to do so, thank you in advance. I love you so much, and I'll see you at the next reading. And until then, take really, really good care of yourselves and each other, but mostly you. Okay, mostly you. Get the discipline. Okay, I love you. I'll see you next time. Blessed be. Oh, bye. 22346 comes out to the number 8. that's your start time. And yeah, this is so beautiful and so magical and so intense. And wow, wow, wow. Welcome, reading 3. And I always like to re-say what the title of the reading is. And I can't even remember right now because this just all came together right before I hit the button. And there's just so much magic. Okay, so can this relationship be salvaged, or is it time to start over? So clearly, if you're here for a specific message. I even have tissue ready for myself just in case, because I keep hearing that song, whenever you're ready, whenever. She sings so high, but she's like, whenever you're ready, whenever you're ready. Oh, I did a little shorts about it, about letting go. And if Spirit calls me to, I will put a link below from my shorts on this channel. If not, seek it out. I think the card is called Surrender or something, and it's about letting go. And man, and this was like, I had this so differently. I had this laying down in front, and anyway, but when it kept wanting to go upright, and I'm like, what? Like, almost like it could just almost stand there by itself, right? And then I kept hearing, the pen is mightier than the sword. So I don't know if that means anything to anybody, but I mean, again, I set this up different, and then it was like my hands took over once I opened the portal, and I was like, it was you guys, you know what I mean? Like, you were like, this is us, this is what we need, This is my dear friend Hazel, and inside Hazel has a bunch of different messages and things. So I don't know if we're going to be hearing from her either in your reading or in a shorts as well. And if you're not familiar with shorts, they're just like little mini, you can do up to a minute to, showcase who you are, your channel, what you're doing, kind of thing. Okay. So, but I like to put little mini readings there, messages that, I'm a medium. So whatever Spirit is like, if it touches me like really deeply or like really intensely, then I know like Spirit's like, pass that on. And, I put my videos and it's, they're super fun. And maybe this is something for you. Like maybe it's to perk up your creative side, to remind you that, you have a voice and it's time to use it, because this is the air energy. The owl is a representation. And air energy is all about communication. It's Archangel Gabriel. It's the West, water, which is really interesting. Wait, I just thought about that. Right? Earth, air, fire, water. Well, this is air. So the air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. But Aquarius, they call them the water bringers. And as you know, we're in the age of Aquarius, and things are really moving quickly now because we're not in this dense, heavy energy of the third dimensional energy. And so I feel like whatever you're asking about, like I haven't pulled any cards yet. I don't know, but I just have this really strong feeling that this is like a multi-level reading, because there's a message behind here. And if you're a regular, you may know what this says, but I was told to cover it. There's an owl feather there. This is an owl feather. I have other forms of air. I have butterflies up the yin yang, beautiful, all different kinds, metal, paper, you know what I mean? Like you name it, imagery, but this, it was actually Hazel, which I swear she had a different name before. And I've been realizing that certain angels and entities are coming through to me. Just like when I was a child, they used to come through to me through my stuffed animals, my, whatever, my Barbies, my just anything. It could be a picture on a wall. And so I feel like this is you, and you're asking if this relationship can be salvaged. I'm going to dive into, first of all, they're asking us to drink water. So drink water. I've been chugging water. This is, I don't know how long, almost 2.5 hours. Plus I've been taking breaks in between because these are so beautiful, but also very intense. Yours was the first reading though that I felt a lot of like I wanted to cry. I'm not going to lie, I was both excited and a little apprehensive about this because the topic is so intense, and topic was so intense that I thought, oh gosh, am I going to be, crying every reading, But I feel like Spirit's trying to show us, especially through the divine feminine. Sorry, I'm like, that was my foot. I didn't fart. That was my foot. But yeah, like I feel like you guys are like, shit's getting real. Like I just feel like it's real serious, and they're trying to tell you to like lighten up, and that they've got it. They've got it. They've got it under control. You know, the only thing they want from us is to stay in as high and as elevated of a vibration as possible. I was watching a reading recently with one of my readers that's like, anyway, she's just really amazing, but like she said the same word over and over wrong the whole entire thing, and I laughed every time because I've done that, and I've done that in this reading. I'm sure of it. I've probably butchered a lot of names from these, and I swear Christopher Walken and I are like soulmates. I always go into this kind of like, wow. Anyway, but that's what I'm feeling, is like I feel like there's this density and this darkness around you that is so heavy, and I feel like Spirit's like, but they want you to like, you know, work it out. So for the pen being mightier than the sword, I feel like for some of you, it's time to get like real. When things are heavy, look at this, you know, this was their wing, but at one point it was, you know, nice and whatever, but it got all tethered and worn away, right? Like, because over time, you know, even, you know, every living thing starts to kind of wear away. Things start to like slowly fade away. And I feel like for some of you, things are fading away for you, but you're still holding on to them. And Spirit's saying, instead of holding on to them and the memories and, you know, jogging yourself through this pain and suffering all the time, I'm getting this energy that they want you to journal and write about it. And if you're somebody who's never journaled, this is your invitation. It's time. And I don't get messages like this all the time, but to have like a cross the board message, but this is a cross the board message that it's time to get a new journal. I don't care if you have 20 of them. It's time to get a brand new journal. Maybe make one. I'm actually I was super sad because today in real time is the Lavender Festival, and I love it, and I went last year and it was so amazing, and I met this like leather artist, and I was like, I've been like saving up. I'm like, I want to buy one of his leather bound, he has grimoires and journal. I mean, he makes the coolest shit I've ever seen. And he only goes to, I think that maybe one other festival a year, and that's it. Like that, he makes all of his money, and you know, he does really well for himself because his prices are amazing and his artwork is amazing. So you do not, you know, some people are like, that's worth $300. Well, you know what, maybe somebody only has $150, and maybe it did take you 10 hours to make it, and you know, $50 to make, you know, $50 to make it in 10 hours or whatever. But it's like, however you break it up, it's like, wouldn't you rather sell it, something you love, and sell it at a price that people can, you know, because we've been lied to and told that if something is more expensive, it's better. If something is bigger, it's better. You know, it's not. And I feel like this is you. I feel like either you are an air sign and that's why you chose this, or you're having a hard time communicating like who you are with others. But also the air energy is, oh, I hear what you're saying. Oh, I hear what you're saying. Oh, okay. Sorry, I messed up. So it's Archangel Raphael is air and Gabriel is water. So I don't know if Gabriel's an archangel you work with, or I didn't even realize that happened until they just replayed what I said to you earlier. And I was like, no, I'm like, Raphael's air. Because it's Raphael's air. Michael is fire, Gabriel is water, and Uriel is earth. So for the air, Archangel Raphael is the healer. And this little piece of amethyst wanted to come in, and I have a big, beautiful amethyst, but it didn't, you know, want to come in here. You know, this little one did. It's honestly, can I just say though how much I love you guys? Because seriously, there's so many things in this reading that are from you. From this tribe. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Also, this pink pepper wanted to come in, and it's an essential oil. It is a zinger though. The essential oil is like no joke. Like you can really hurt yourself. That's why it comes in a little bottle. A little goes a long way. But maybe you're meant to eat, you know, pink peppercorn. You know what I mean? Because that's all this is. It's pink peppercorn. It's oil. But research pink pepper and like pink peppercorn and its spiritual meaning. Everything has meaning. So I feel like this is a lesson for you. This is your homework. We've had homework on some of the other readings as well. So let's pull in a card. I feel like it's time to pull in one of these deep, dark, and dangerous cards. Okay, so Spirit, for reading 3, is there a specific, now that I felt like was about you. Okay, so the thing that you need to, that you're working on is like, keep going basically. Do you want to salvage some of the old parts of you? The only thing that they want you to focus on is where you are in the moment. And if things come up from the past, work through it. Does it feel good to you now? Right? Like I was trying to like put away like certain things about myself, and then I was like, no, this is how I've always been. I've always been more flashy, more, you know what I mean? It's like, but I was trying to be a little more plain, a little more understated, you know, because I wanted to connect more to you guys, like on a level that wasn't just like, you know, a lot of times over my lifetime it's been about my looks, and I'm like, this isn't about my looks, right? Like, this is about the message for you guys. That's what this is about. That's what this message is for. It's for you. So, you know, only you know like what you need. Also, I feel like I keep pointing to this. So I feel like a lot of you, it's time to work with your crown chakra also. There's flowers, there's roses on here. So I love roses. Like, I love real roses, but even real rose essential oil purified the most perfect way, I do not. It's just too much in a bottle. I'm like, I'd rather, like, I lived in Portland, Oregon, and I used to love to go to the rose garden, but I like to walk through it and take pictures. But after a while, I was like, I gotta get out of here, man. It's like intense. So, you know, it's kind of like this energy too. So maybe take it in small increments, work with actual real roses, you know, but make sure you know where they're coming from too, because the scents could be like, if there's toxins put into the, you know what I mean? There's a lot of variables. Okay. I feel like that was like some little like side medicine. Okay. So what is now on to, if there are any other relationships outside. Now let's move on to outside of this person. Okay. Is there a relationship? Can their relationship be salvaged, or is it time for them to move on and start over? Okay, this one really pulled to me. Oh, that's powerful. What's so interesting is that this is year of the dragon, and next year is the year of the snake. And so I think it's interesting that we're being empowered by the dragon in this year, and then we're going to shed our skin. So, you know, I feel like this is Spirit telling you to take your time. You're going to get there. This is your year, though. This is a year for everybody on some level, just astrologically speaking. But there's also a lot of lessons happening in this year. It's kind of like if you're going in the light and you're working in the shadow in a form of teaching and educating yourself and others, it's like one thing. But if it's like, if you're still like, oh, hey, like light and love, sister, and then like they leave and you're like, oh, God, I can't stand her. That's real shit, man. That's fucking karma. So cycles. So this is the Midgard serpent, and this is all about cycles. Wow. And what did I say? That your number was 8. So interesting, because 8 is the number of the infinity. It's also a number for dragons, and a lot of times they use snake, you know, and the Ouroboros too, you know, in terms of like life and, you know, infinity and all that. So very interesting. There is something they want me to, there is a card, there are 2 cards on here, but they don't want me to look at them just yet. But I feel like, I'm not sure if they're for you or for them, but they're like one thing at a time. So, there's a download coming in. Hold on. Okay. I was like, isn't this Stacy? So it's interesting because this article is written by Stacy DeMarco. So I feel like there are other decks by Stacy DeMarco. I think the one of my other oracles, the Dark Shadow Oracle, I think is by them. Or so anyway, research Stacy DeMarco. Maybe she writes books. I don't know. Sometimes, you know, I mean, look at the 4 agreements. If you never knew about the book, but you just bought the Oracle deck, you'd think that that was that. But it actually was written from a book, right? Or like movies that were turned into books, or books turned into movies, you know, kind of thing. Also, I'm feeling allergies like really strong. Like I want to sneeze. It just came out of nowhere. Like literally came out of nowhere. So I feel like some of you are fighting allergies, and Spirit's like, it's cycles, because our bodies change every 7 years, and so you're just going through something massive. Also, I'm feeling like this is one that I usually like to read the book, but I feel like I'm going to put it in the community section. There was another card from the other reading too that I'm going to put in the community section too, if you're drawn to it. I don't want to say what it is because I feel like if you're drawn to reading two, you'll go there. If not, like I said, these are so like, about relationships and things like that. So I don't want people to get too ahead of themselves. I want you to focus on, which one it is, at a time, which, if that makes sense. Okay, so then on the bottom we have shadow. And what'd you say? Oh, I didn't hear what they said. Oh, it's number 34, which is the number 7. Holy shit, cycles. I get it. Right? I didn't even put that together. Okay, so then on the bottom, it was number 1, deep, and then it says depth and shadow. I'm going to tell you right now, I feel like this is more than one relationship, and I know that this is not the answer you're probably going to like, because we want the quick, easy answer, but I feel like whomever this is, I should say, I feel like it's multiple people, and which is interesting because this is what's on the bottom. Number 37, which is also 10, completion, fetch. I mean, you can look at that as like, oh, that's cute, or you can be like, dude, that's dark as fuck. Like if you saw that, if you like in the card didn't make it all interesting, whatever. But imagine if you saw that like this imagery in a horror movie, it'd be a completely different story. So I feel like they're trying to tell us that. Ooh, mirror. Yes, to look at your light and your shadow and love both sides of it. I feel like this relationship is serious. Because this is the third reading and the others were very specific, I really believe reading 3, this is more about you and like what you're trying to salvage from your past lives and like rectify with that and like what you're in now so that you can move into the future. There's another card on the bottom. Oh, hell. Interesting. Oh, acceptance. It also could be that for some of you, the reason why the owl came in is because the owl is no joke. The owl is all about wisdom. And look at this divine feminine. And the snake represents the divine feminine too, but also some would argue the divine masculine, right? But because of what's happening right now on the planet, a lot of the shadow and the darkness that's coming out, which is interesting because her name is Hell, right? And I can't even see what number. Oh, number 6. 369. Those numbers keep coming up this year. I feel like they're like really powerful. Like, I feel like they want us to say it a lot. So, like, I feel like if you're ever feeling low or confused or whatever, just be like 369. 369. 369. I don't know why. It all comes back to the same number too, which is really cool. So this is about working with your light and your shadow and coming to terms with it and loving both sides of yourself. It's almost like I feel like you're trying to go one way or the other, and that this is something I really align with you on this because I just went through this myself and I realized that we're just both. And some days, you are going to be dark as fuck. And maybe you say something or you do something and afterwards you're like, oh man, and you apologize. But you know what? You will get to a place where you won't do that anymore. When you're like squeezing out the end of the toothpaste and getting rid of it. But until you, face it and work through it, if you keep avoiding it, right, it's going to come out in different ways. Right? And maybe the moon cycles are having something to do with that, right? Let me see, Spirit. Do you want me to pull any more cards? Because I feel like that's it. Because I feel like it's like almost like this perfect little pattern. So I'm going to pull these away because I feel like this is kind of short and sweet. So here is your word, okay? This is the word, like basically what I'm getting from Spirit is this is the word that they want you to work with right now. And don't concern yourself about other relationships with people. Just concern yourself with your relationship with yourself. And bring hope back in. You need the hope. Because you know what? It's literally what's keeping this planet going and keeping it alive. Is hope. So we need you. And when you're in the dark, it's okay. But work through it and get the fuck out of there. And if you're in an energy or an environment that is literally dulling your hope every day where it's like this and you can barely even see what it says anymore, then you need to go and find the light. You have to find the light. Remove yourself from the situation. Do you know what I mean? You are responsible for your own happiness. Nobody is responsible for it. And whomever you're even thinking about, they're on their own path just like you are. Jade is all about good fortune and money. We got Lemurian crystal, starseed, amethyst, moonstone, bloodstone, apophyllite, blue agate. And I never can remember what this one is. Oh, it wasn't in there, but that's interesting. Does anybody know what this one is? If you know, please comment below. I remember the guy saying I shouldn't touch it too much. So I don't know what it is, but it's really cool. Anyway, I don't know if you guys have any more messages. Let me see. Do you have any more messages? And let's see here. Let me ask. Let me see if we have any. So I said there's some things inside here. You know what's interesting? I wanted to put those cards back out for you. And they, oh, there's my pendulum. I love how they always help me find it. Don't worry. This is your message. That's it. I just want to make sure I get it all. Oh, and Bubba just came in. If those of you who know my familiar, Bubba just came in and said hi. Okay, Spirit. Do we have any more messages? So this is how I kind of do it. Some fell out already, but then I always do this to see if any more. Because if they want to, they can pop out. There we go. Any more messages, Spirit? Okay. So we have keywords, okay? And I'll take a screenshot of this and I will put it in the community section because there might be further messages for you. But I'm just going to read them as I see them. So, power, the initial T. On the back of this, it looks like a 48, but it could be a Y and an 8. But I feel the T strongly. Actually, whenever they fall there is kind of how I feel it. It is. And then we have stable. Interesting. So power, stable, T. The number 4, but written out in letters. So I don't know if that means anything. Like with the writing, you know. Organic. Maybe trying to get you to go back into it. Oh, produced in Belgium. But you know what's interesting? It was blank on one side, and then I was produced in Belgium. Oh my gosh, I love you so much. I miss my family in Belgium. Okay, so I'm not sure what this one is. I mean, you can interpret it. You know, maybe it'll be meant to go with some other things. And then we have a G. A capital G though, so that is a capital G and a capital T, so that makes me think that those are letters and names. Okay, and then we have the number 3. Okay, so oh, interesting, 3, 4, and look at, we had 34. Wasn't one of the cards 34? Oh, I love it when it does stuff like that. Okay, so we have acceptance. Yeah, cycle. So it comes back to the other one. Look at that, 34. You can't make it up. I mean, you could, but it wouldn't be nearly as fun. So follow the breadcrumbs. Follow the breadcrumbs. And remember that not only are you dealing with your own stuff, but remember that we're all mirrors and you're a big fucking mirror. Do you see how the person is holding the mirror and they're showing how big it is? They could have a handheld mirror, but they're also showing you that you have great gifts. If you chose this pile, you're an owl, right? Like you've got great wisdom, you have a lot to say, you know, but if people are not, you know, into whatever, they'll try and steal your shit. It's sad. It's sad how fucking jealous and selfish and whatever, but it's not, it's an ego. It's such a human thing. It's such a human thing. So you got to remember and forgive it, you know? And so this is the time that you have to be the stronger one. And depth. So, and dig deeper into your shadow. Start from the beginning. Number 1. I feel like they're like, you want to know what relationship needs to be salvaged? Yours with yourself. And finding your inner light and your inner hope. And I feel like these words, like these initials and stuff like that, if there was an actual person or someone, I feel like there's something to do with what came out of Hazel. I do. I really do. There's no more. They said, I was like, should I pull any more? They're like, no. So, you know, you are the beacon of light. And sometimes, you know, when you're a mirror that big, Even though you see yourself as a beautiful goddess, this is how they see you. Now, mind you, in another universe, this is beautiful, right? We wouldn't see this as half dead or scary or whatever, but it's also like a rebirth energy as well. You know? I like the 6 and the 7 too, because 6 and 7 is 13. So don't lose hope. Don't let those people get into your shit. Don't let them crawl inside, and you know what I mean? You accept yourself. That's the only relationship that matters, is your relationship with you. All right, you guys, I'm pretty sure that's it, but I'm going to check in with Spirit and just make sure, do we have any more messages for this beautiful reading 3 before we bounce out? Oh my gosh, I just heard that from a reader, and I'm like, oh my God, I used to say that when I was like, I'm like, we're probably from the same generation. So, oh, why, I can't remember they have such a great channel. If I find one of their readings, I will put it in always check the comment sections in the description box. It's got like, you know, all fun stuff. Also, in like all the stuff about me has all the contacts and any form of contact that you want to have with me in any, hold on, what'd you say, Spirit? Oh, also, before we go, they want you to slow down. I did notice before this, like, if you watch the readings, it's like my energy is kind of different, but I kind of felt it. And even now with you, I'm like, I feel like I'm rushing. And Spirit's saying, slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down. When I looked down, it was 249. So, 2, the duality, and 49 is also, it could be an age for one of you guys, but it's also the number 13, which is the divine feminine. My beautiful gypsy witch was really like showing her stuff today too. There's just really this strong, heavy divine feminine energy that's coming through. I mean, honestly, it's like I feel like Wonder Woman Island's just gonna like explode on our planet soon. So you know, I mean, Taylor Swift just literally single-handedly brought the divine feminine energy back in all ways, shapes, and forms. And there's so much magic happening on the planet right now. It's really awesome. And you can look at that so many different ways too. We spoke about her at some other stuff too, because you know, everybody's bringing the medicine and getting the medicine, right? Nobody's perfect. Everybody's doing their part right now. So, yeah. What'd you say? It's like they wanted you to just, did you get to hear the nature? I hope so. I hope that picked up, because it's so crazy here today. It's like summertime and I live in a very touristy area. And I noticed earlier when I was doing some healing stuff, it got super fucking quiet. It was so wild. And just now I feel like it got quiet for you. And I feel like this is what they want for you. Just get quiet. Everything else will figure itself out. Okay? Worry about you. You first. Then you can concern with your other shit later. Alright, until next time, take good care of yourselves and each other, okay? I love you so much. Blessed be. Oh, bye. 25151. Welcome reading for our water energy, our last reading of this cycle. And I love when Spirit plays with the light. I had a whole different thing planned. You know how that goes. But of course, their version is always way better than mine. So this is very, very cool. So we are going to be using this as our moon, because in all the readings we had our beautiful little painting by the president of the Magical Medium, Anna, which I've deemed her. She's never accepted this title, but there are many of you that have loved and supported all the work that I do for a very long time. But I will say, Anna, woo, and a lot of gratitude. So anyway, I wanted to include her painting, the moon painting, but they said no. We were going into the water energy, and they wanted me to use this really cool resin piece I have. It's so neat. It's got so much stuff going on. The other side, I have some candle wax on it, so just ignore it, but because I forgot it was on there. But look at how cool this is. I feel like this is like kind of what they wanted us to see, though, this kind of like bobbing water energy. Also, I felt I could have brought in any water energy, right? Like I said the same for like the air energy with the owl, right? I could have just as easily brought in butterflies, but I was called to bring in the owl. And if you were called to reading 3, maybe you should go and check that out. But I was really drawn to the salt water, and in here I have a bunch of extra messages from Spirit. So Interesting that there's a feather on top, and we just finished the air reading. Okay, so welcome, welcome, welcome. And let me refresh the question. So the question is, can this relationship be salvaged, or is it time to start over? So let's delve into the cards, shall we, and see what Spirit has to say. And the other ones too, I also had this out, but I felt like I didn't want it in here. There was such a beautiful flowy water, like, just, we're so connected. Drink water too. Drink water, drink water. Please keep drinking water. Stay as hydrated as possible. I have been craving salt. I'm not a salt person, but I have been craving salt like crazy, and salt retains water, which some people don't like because they're like, that's bloating and blah blah blah. But little bits are actually good to help your body, not just flush out the water. We're 70% water, our avatars on Earth in human form. So I'm just hearing like you really want to, get connected with that. Obviously, we don't want to drink salt water, but you know what I did? Right before this, I was called to flush out my mouth with salt water. So I created some salt water and I flushed my mouth out before this. So I don't know if that's for somebody. It helps keep your mouth clean. It's something I forget about. And I'm hearing like we need to go back to the old ways. And before I even go into anything about relationships, I'm feeling like a straight up channeling right now. I almost feel like this is like a crystal ball. It's so cool. I've never used it in this capacity. It's so cool. So Spirit, what would you like to say to reading 4 before we pull cards? So if you were drawn to the water energy, it could be that you yourself are a water sign. We're right now in the first decan of the water signs, which is Cancer, right? So Cancer is, I don't know if you call them deacons, but it's the first, so every season we have fire, earth, air, and water, like we just had with the readings, right? So it's the same with like, we have Cancer water, then Scorpio water, then Pisces water, right? So it's kind of like that. So it's kind of like this is the first water sign of the zodiac. Pisces is the last. Scorpio's in between. So I'm feeling this kind of dreamy like energy around you guys right now. Hold on. Interesting. This happened in some of the other readings too. Even though this is water energy, I'm feeling a lot of you are very ungrounded. I'm feeling a lot of air energy. So it could be your sign. It could be someone that you're dealing with. So the air signs would be Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And Aquarius, even though it is an air sign, they call them the water bringers. So it could be even someone that has like water and air in their sign, or in their like their main, like their rising, their moon, all that good stuff. I'm hearing Tabitha. I don't know what that means or who that's for or what's coming out, but I'm hearing Tabitha. And interesting, I don't remember which reading it was, but one of the readings we pulled some letters out. So in the community section, I'm going to post a screenshot of basically it's just a bunch of words. They're sitting here right now. It's just a bunch of words that I pulled from the other reading. Oh yeah, it was from the air reading. So if I feel like that's for somebody, so go and check out in the community section. I'm going to take a screenshot of that and then make of it what you will. We will be pulling more things from here. I'm feeling this very, very, very flighty, ungrounded. I feel nauseous right now. I feel hungry. I'm feeling like all these different things. And some of them are obvious. I haven't eaten since yesterday. When I do these intense readings, I like to, just be clean and just drink water. But I am feeling this very like hungry like the wolf. You know what I mean? Like I'm hearing hungry like the wolf, like from Duran Duran. Yeah, like I'm hearing hungry like a wolf. Like that's what I'm hearing. And also in one of the readings, and I don't remember which one it was, they spoke of the werewolf energy. So there will be a picture of that in the community section as well. And the picture of the card, and then also for their spirit medicine inside the book. It was really powerful. I just saw 28, 29, 30. Like, I feel like, and I'm feeling like that too. Like, there's just this antsy energy. Like, you're like, I gotta go. Like, can't I get my fucking information in 2 seconds? And you know what's really funny? This is your card, but not your card. But this is the card that was at the top of the deck. Sorry, I have to do my thing a little bit. Isn't that interesting? The Sphinx, gratification, number 40. So, I don't know if this wants to be here or not. I'm going to put it over here and see what happens. And if it wants to stay, then it's going to stay. And if it doesn't, then I'll take it as it doesn't. So, okay, so let's see. Are there any more messages? Okay. So what relationship, because I feel like this is you. But when I see this card, I think of instant gratification. Like, look at her face. Like, she's like, yeah, bitch, you better fucking get that for me. I am the queen. This is my kingdom. But there's also, obviously, you know, it's heavy Egyptian energy. So it could be something with that, because we're talking about, can this relationship be salvaged? You know, you also, you know what I'm getting? Oh, look at that. The way it's like going, the mountains or the pyramids in the back. Fuck, but they look like mountains too. I've been seeing this imagery together a lot. And then I saw this movie the other day, and then it was like this Native American, it was about the Anasazi. Anyway, long story short, it was so similar to this that it's kind of freaking me out. And I feel like that's what Spirit's trying to show us. Like, maybe you in this life you're this way, or maybe in this life you're that way. I feel like for some of you, you're living a false energy, identity, meaning like, let's just say like you started doing past life stuff. Maybe you do it for a living. Maybe you help people, or it's just that you did some past life stuff and you found out that you lived in Egypt and you had this life and this energy and blah, blah, blah. So now you, like, everything, like if you walked into your house, you think you just went to Egypt, right? But what if Spirit told you that was just to help you figure out certain things when you were figuring out certain things? Holy shit, look at that. What the fuck? What the fuck? Look at how the picture goes with that. I always use the other side. That's so crazy. That's so crazy right now. I love it though. This is where I really love my job. I mean, I can even like probably line it up perfectly, right, to make it like almost perfect, but it doesn't need to be perfect because it's just fucking awesome. It's just so awesome. But I'm hearing like, but what if you like to live on a farm and you like farm stuff and you like gingham and like old patterns and like beautiful like fabrics and old furniture, and you want to live in like this cool old house on an old farm? But you have like a cabinet that has like a lot of cool stuff. And yeah, you've got some, you know, Ankhs in there or an Eye of Horus or, you know, whatever, you know. But what if that's just a small part of you? Maybe there's more of you that meets the eye. Maybe there's more of an expansiveness that is like calling to you. Because I almost put this card aside. And now I'm like, no way. Like, this is insane. But I think anyway. Oh, listen to that. It's really busy where I live, and it's summertime, and it's Saturday, so beautiful outside. Do the math. So anyway, do you see what's going on here? In that world and in that life, you may have had instant gratification. You may have been a reader, or maybe you've been like manipulating and using, this is harsh fucking medicine. I'm sorry to tell you. This may branch off. The other readings are all of them. The first two were kind of similar, but the third one was completely different. This one's kind of like the third one, but I'm only saying that because if you were drawn to more than one, you know, I would never tell you what to look at, but just be mindful that these are talking about real relationships here. So I don't want you to get half-cocked watching something that's not yours and you just like end the best thing that ever happened to you that was going to lead you to the path of, you know what I mean? Because even something that feels uncomfortable and quote-unquote shitty, you know what I mean, is still leading you on the path somewhere. And so, you know, what's the old saying? Don't throw out the baby with the bathwater, which is so gross and weird. I don't know where it comes from, but you get the analogy, right? Like you would hold the baby, put the baby down, you know, clean up the baby, and then you throw the bathwater out later. You don't hold on to the baby and like throw the water out. You know what I mean? Hoping the baby doesn't, you know, catapult out. So yeah, there's something here, and I feel like some of you have been abusing and manipulating your power. And that's why you were drawn here. So whether you're a water sign or whether like it's the water energy, you were looking for flow. Spirit's like, you're not flowing because you're living in a world that doesn't exist anymore. And for some of you that were drawn to 3 and the owl, you really need to go there. Okay, and then this is the next card. Wow, look at this ship on her head. So we're in a very high vibration of mermaid energy right now. Please check in the comments, but I was drawn to look at Pam Gregory's full moon forecast for the blue moon. We're in these Capricorn bookends, which blessed full moon of Capricorn, by the way, because I'm doing this like in the hours leading up to her peak. But yeah, there is like a serious energy going on right now with these planets and a lot of heavy mermaid energy. So it could even be that maybe that's it too. Like maybe you've always lived like a mermaid or whatever. And Spirit's like, but what if this is you? You know what I mean? Like vice versa. So I just had to say that because it's so interesting because I just, so I'll put a link below if you want to watch Pam Gregory's. Also, dude, she was like crazy spot on about what just happened with that, the attempt. Ooh, if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Also, they want me to call your attention to that I pulled a bunch of lavender out to put down here. So I feel like you guys are meant to work with lavender to, cool your jets, slow your roll. But yeah, that's so interesting. And look at this. We get a water card. I mean, and they couldn't be more contrast, right? Like, I mean, here we are with a mermaid in the water. See, that one wanted to stand up. A mermaid in the water. She's over here, right? And along her, all these cool energies. And then you've got sand, the desert. Polar fucking opposites. So what is going on? And this may have to do with a relationship with someone too. I'm just going very in depth because it's the moon, baby, and I was born on the moon on Monday, and I'm just so drawn to this water energy with this moon cycle, and the fact that I said, I'm like, these cards have other things with water in them that aren't the ocean, aren't the sea, you know what I mean? But look at all the like the sea elements that were like pulled in. So I'm feeling, interestingly enough, where's she at? The Lemurian almost didn't want to come in here, and I'm wondering now if it's because some of you are from Arcturus or Atlantean, and maybe there's some karma or something, and they're like trying to help get you out of it. And they're like, and maybe it is something as simple as like changing the way you dress or changing the way you look or changing the way your outlook is, or stop pulling from a past life that's fucking over. Like it's over. And I'm getting fierce about it because my moon's in Scorpio, right? So we're like I just cut to the quick of it, because sometimes we just got to cut to the quick of it. And that's what I'm getting is like, which relationships you need to end. You are the fucking queen. And I mean, look at this, like, and her, like, look at the divine feminine. Now, I'm not saying, how it's funny how a ship is named, you have to name your ship, number one. Like, there's all these, like, things, like, right? Or, like, it'll curse you on the waters, right? So one of them is you name them, and the other is that it's always a she. She is at the, it's like she's at the helm. So they have, like, the mermaid, the old ships, they'd have, like, the mermaids at the front to honor the mermaids and say thank you for safe passage. And you know what I mean? All that shit meant stuff. All that stuff meant stuff. But also, when we think of ships, we automatically think of divine masculine, too, right? Because for most part, it's been the captain of the ship. You didn't see a lot of women captain of the ship. There were, but you didn't see a lot of them. And now it's like, look at the divine feminine picking up that fucking ship. And I feel like that's you guys. Like, so what you need to salvage in your relationship with yourself and others is your divine feminine, and bring the saucy siren back. Because, she's beautiful and all, right? But she's just like sitting there waiting for shit to happen. And she's just like, bring it to me. Bring it to me. And it's like, no, you got to get in there and get active. Look at her. She's like, nope, sorry, boys. I'm going to knock you out because you should not be, maybe the ship is bombing, their people or whatever. And the mermaids are like, no, I don't fucking think so. I don't think so. We're going to pop out of the water and we're going to make shit right. Now, don't get me twisted or wrong here, okay? I have Egyptian lineage too. So I'm just saying that there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I may pull this card another day and see her as, this divine, because she's obvious, they're both divine feminine, right? But this one's really sitting in her masculine in the middle. But what we need is a balance. I'm like, is there a next card? Oh, interesting. Because that's so funny because I said, is there a next card? And they said, there is. Look at it. And look at that. It's the Divine Masculine. Holy shit. And you know, I just realized, did I look at the number for this one? So this one's 40, which is all about balance, right? And this one is 14. 1 and 4 is 5, change and transformation, but also 1 before 4, right? Like you have to change, you have to start at the beginning of something before it can be balanced. And then, oh my gosh, you can't make it up. Look at, and then number 15. And I have really shuffled these, but I keep finding that some of the other readings too, they were in order. But I feel like there's a reason why they're in order, right? Because they're lessons. So, what did the siren say? Okay, so Beauty, the mermaid. Yeah, and look at how beautiful. And then, so this one, these are both deep. So we have Beauty and Loyalty. So I feel like they're like, find the beauty. Your mission, should you choose to accept it in the Divine Feminine, is to find your beauty and balance your Divine Masculine. And the beauty is what you make of it, right? Like your inner beauty. I almost feel like maybe they're trying to, maybe that's what they're trying to show us, right? Like, because he's coming out of the dirt, it looks like. Mithras. And it could even be that, you know, these are, I feel like this could even be, and now like I feel like the story's changing a little bit now that Mithras has come in. I almost feel as if the mermaid is like the Divine Feminine, this is the Divine Masculine, but this is like the embodied. Because if you look close, it's like they're, yes, you might say that they're, you know, it's a woman, but there's also a lot of androgyny there. And maybe, you know, it takes water and sand to create, you know, earth. There's definitely something going on. I almost feel like, do we want to get another card, Spirit? Okay. I don't know if I want to call out from the book yet, but I do feel like I want to go in here and see what comes out. Now, I'm going to make sure these are over here so I don't mess those up. That's an important message. Okay, so, oh, here we go. All right. Are there any other messages, Spirit? Okay. All right. Oh, my gosh. Wow. They're, like, jumping out. And honestly, like, I'm not even shaking it that hard. I'm, like, more like this with my hand on it, right? So, like, they have to really jump out. All right, that feels good. Holy cannoli on a rolly. All right, so we've got, I'm going to throw some words out and then see what comes together, okay? So, and I also just saw the number 28. Okay, so 100% reimagined yogi. And this one always reminds me of like a flag. So I think that kind of reminds me of the Mexican flag, but it could be the Italian flag, those colors too. Anyway, but I feel like this is for somebody, or it could be a color scheme or color pattern. Maybe you're looking, it kind of looks like watermelon too. Seriously, like whatever. Ooh, my throat chakra. I feel like it wants to be heard. As far as letters go, we have A, R, T, which could be initials, but also art, right? And then I see good. Ooh, nice. Like, that's good. Long-lasting protection, which I feel like what I got from that right away is that, like, keep going towards your art, and that's going to be where your money is. That's your long-lasting, quote-unquote, protection. Because I feel like for some of you, you're like, who should I keep? Who should I not keep? Why am I not making money? What's happening? And I feel like the flow isn't happening because there's not a balance happening. And the Divine Feminine and the Divine Masculine, and yourself and in your relationships. There's a really, really ungrounded energy. I just got Bake. Oh my gosh. I just did a shorts for that. Or I'm about to do I took the picture. But Bake, like, I feel like for some of you, this came up before, where some of you, like, you are bakers. Like, you love to cook, you love to bake. You can make a living doing that. You know? It's like, and people are like, oh, I want to be a millionaire. It's like, do you though? Do you want to be a millionaire? You know, or do you just want to like have a great life and enjoy life? You know, do you not want to stress about stuff? Because I'm getting like, stop the stressing. Oh my gosh, look at, let things come to you. and look at it's a bird. It's a bird. So for those of you who are drawn to the air energy, there might be some messages in there for you. Okay, so we have cook. Oh my gosh, you guys, there's a theme here. Mint. Feel good favorite. Oh, I feel like yeah, like maybe you have, or you're a musician or something, whatever you're baking, cooking, creating, it's a feel good favorite. There's like something that you do that nobody else does. Like maybe you make some cookie that your grandma made, you know, and she made it like, you know, in the Depression when she had like 3 items or something and she had to get creative, you know. I saw something recently where someone's like, this is the best chocolate chip cookie or something. They're like, oh, I'll be the judge of that. And it was all these different judges from like all over the world. And they were like, they all looked at each other and like, what the fuck is in here? Like, they were like, no, I'm serious. Like, what is in here? And they're like, love. And I'm like, oh my gosh, my heart just like went thump, thump, you know what I mean? Like the most beautiful way. Because I was like, exactly, like they just made it with love and they just made the simple ingredients and it doesn't have to be a gazillion things. So, you know, I hope that helps somebody. Also, ancient. So the ancestors are talking to you. Also, I heard make it with ancient grains. Like I know for myself, I found this granola, Elizabeth's granola, I think it's called, and I love it. And it's ancient grain with coconut, it's coconut stuff and coconut sugar. My body, like if I eat it in small increments and not go crazy, really loves it. And it's a great way to flush out your system, you know, so maybe that was like for you. How you feel. Oh, this says how you feel. Okay. Want to know more? Interesting. Want to know more? I heard brew. Brew. Oh, interesting. Like a witch's brew, like a tea. I see a small G. We had a capital G in the last reading. 11%. Oh, interesting that we started with 100% and now we have 11%. So I'm thinking that maybe you're only giving 11% or you've spread yourself so thin with all of these people that you're like, who do I cut loose? And Spirit's like, all of them. All of them. If you want to work on your dream, and that's the best thing, right? Because if you're not ready, you know, I'm always the first person that's like fucking face that challenge head on, you know, like you talk to those people. But if you're not ready to do that, then that's okay. Then you know what? You just work on yourself and you tell people, I'm building my dream right now and I'm cutting myself off from the world. So I'm not going to call you back. I'm not going to, you know, blah, 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 blah. I even at one point when I was transitioning with that energy, I even got 2 phones. So I had a phone that I can take with me, you know, and only like my closest people. And, you know, because my work I had, I don't know, almost 200 contacts. And I'm like, this is insane. I'm like, I don't know this many, you know, but it was from all the readings and spirit work that I'd done. And so, you know, anyway, I'm just saying like, you start to realize like, I was like, it's too much. So I got 2 phones and I had 2 lines and that really helped me for a while. And it was only extra $10 on my phone plan to do that. And it was worth the extra money every month just so that like I had my work phone and like my people who, you know, were like, you know, I need you, you know, and then I had my phone that like the people that were like my solid people where I can be like, hey man, I'm off the grid for 3 months. Okay, cool. Call me when you're ready. You know what I mean? So sometimes we have to set those boundaries with people. So if you're wanting to give 100%, but you're only going at 11, you're not going to get to your dream and your destiny. Okay, tan. Oh, okay. Maybe some of you need a little suntan. I felt that. But then also remember in this color thing here, it almost looks like a tan. So maybe there's something there. Also, the art is in red. I'm going to take a screenshot of this and put it in the community section, so that'll help you out. Fiber. Oh my gosh, what was I just talking about? Ancient grains. Fiber. This one I went past earlier. Kosher. If you are like, I can't afford organic, blah, blah, blah. Kosher. Kosher is organic. It can't be kosher if it's not. So that's just a little heads up. Some people don't know that. Okay. Stirring. Okay, seriously. More. Look at brew, stirring, cook, bake, high pressure. Oh, shit. Somebody's feeling high pressure. Rosemary. Come on. The process. Long-lasting protection just came back into my orbit again, too. Okay. Did we get them all? I think we got them all. Reimagined. They wanted me to say that. Yeah, like maybe it's something you used to do reimagined. Have you ever seen Bridesmaids or whatever? I think it's called Bridesmaids. Oh my gosh. If you haven't seen, it's free. There's so many. This is the time on YouTube where like almost everything is free because hardly anybody's watching TV because they're out and they're enjoying things or whatever. So if you want a good movie at night or if you're going, you know, to visit friends, family, or whatever, there's a lot of good ones right now, but that one's out too. So anyway, and also yogi. So there's something about that. Oh, and on the other side of the yogi, it's a yogi tea. But I do feel like this, like you're the yogi of this. Like maybe you're the yogi of food, yogi of creation, yogi of art. Maybe you're meant to teach, you know, especially if you have a teaching degree. Like, you know, just because you don't have an art teaching degree doesn't mean you can't teach art. Especially like in schools, you know, like public schools and stuff. Okay, may all beings be happy. Oh, I feel like that's you too. May all beings be happy. So, I am not feeling like I want to read from the books, but what I do want to do is that each card has a representation of a plant and a crystal. And since you had so many things out here, I just want to see if there's anything in here that they want you to work with. And if they want me to read anything from the book, if I'm drawn to it, I will. Okay. So the duality of the Sphinx is now versus later and knowing versus ignorance, right? Because she's just like, you know, there's waiting for something to happen with gratitude, but still keeping a high vibration. And there's like waiting for something to happen that you're like, oh, I'll take care of it later. I'll take care of it later. And Spirit's like, but that's the ignorance. It's like you keep putting it off, you know, like time waits for nobody. Not even you, my love. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta fucking move forward. This is interesting. I didn't think we'd get so much tough love in here, but I think it's because we have a lot of strong water signs in our tribe. We have all of the signs in our tribe, but there's definitely like some of you that you know that I know that you know that I know that shit's gotta get done. Shit's gotta get real. You know what I mean? And if we don't balance our divine feminine and masculine, it's like, and we sit in this like, you know, if we sit in the acceptance of ignorance, there's soul knowledge and then there's like ego, right? So I'm feeling like they're saying like, come back to us, right? Like come back to the soul knowledge of it, okay? And the plant is, acacia, interesting. And the crystal companion is beryl, okay? And if I'm called to pull the meanings from the book, or if you're like, oh, Lola, will you please post? You can just put in the comments below. Say, I was really drawn to that. Can you take a screenshot of that and put it in the community section? I can do that for you. Okay, and since we pulled the mermaid next, let's see what the mermaid had. Oh, wow. I was going to the mermaid and fear came out. Because that's all ego really is. It's fear. Because if we weren't holding fear in our bodies, our minds, our souls, whatever, if we weren't holding fear, like just the natural reaction is love, like the natural, you know what I mean? Like but they're opposing opposites, right? Just like these, it's like now versus later, right? It's like, anyway, that's interesting. Fear versus love. So the plant companion is, oh boy, that's a big name. Nance or golden spoon is the street name for it, but I'll put it up there. And then the crystal companion is, hematite. Interesting. Oh, that's so interesting. You know what? I was going to bring hematite into this, but I have some raw hematite. I was going to bring it in and they told me to, and I don't know, I didn't want to. So there you go. See, look at fucking ego. Cause I'm like, oh no, it doesn't go with my pretty picture. You know, like, and they're like, yeah, but that's like what they need to work with. Right. See what I'm saying? Like even me with my fucking ego, it's so easy. We don't think about it. We don't think about our ego in the way that we really need to think about our ego. Especially as light workers and starseeds. If you found yourself to this channel, that's what you are, you know, and they're not the same, by the way. You can be, it's like, the whole witch theory too, but in my experience anyway, you can be a light worker, but not be a starseed. So just, you know, put that in your pipe and smoke it. And it doesn't make you better or higher or whatever. Get that shit out of get the smirk off. You know what I mean? Like, we're getting tough love. You know, they're saying it like this because they love us. And they're just like, no, stop it. You know what I mean? Like, knock it off. By the way, that was from fear. That plant and that crystal companion. That's so interesting. That's why, because I wasn't thinking that card, but I didn't trust that they were going to show me something else. You see what I'm saying? So the mermaid, the duality for the mermaid, let's get her back up and running. And I feel like she wants to be in the water. And maybe that's what it is. It's like they're trying to exactly like, you know, bye-bye. Bye-bye, queen of you know, the Sphinx. So the mermaid's duality is attraction and danger. Very interesting. It says beauty is a high value when it illuminates and inspires, but it is the eye of the beholder. Relying just on outward appearances is shallow and temporary. If beauty is the only virtue, then others need to be developed. Love your own unique beauty. If you are using your beauty to manipulate someone, be wary. This particular kind of magic wears thin after a time. It does, and it's also just breeding really shitty karma for you, right? Like, I mean, trust me, I know, like, I can tell you right now, I know with everything that I am and every meditation I've been through and everything that I was meant to go through this part of my life in a very humbling manner and living like home free and off the grid and all that, because I could charm the pants off of anybody. I can get what I wanted whenever I wanted it. It was easy. I didn't even have to work that fucking hard. And I know that sounds arrogant, but it's true. I don't have to work that hard, and you probably don't either. And especially when I want to get all dialed up. That's why I had to dial it back and take the makeup off and all that, because I started to realize when I'd put my mask on, like my makeup and the hair and the regalia and all that, it's like I didn't even have to try. I could just walk down the fucking street, walk into a store, and people are like, who is that? Who is that? Who is that? That's soul knowledge. That's not being like, oh, I'm so, you know, whatever. And I've had people all throughout my life, through jobs, you know, friends, family, where they're like, you should use that. You should use that. And so over time I did. And I, you know, I mean, one time I remember I was like really broke, and this really happened. And I said to my father, who had the money to give me at the time, who I never asked for anything, or if I did, he always said no, because he said that he knew I could do it on my own. And he was right. And at one point I'd hit a really rough spot, and I asked him, I said, can I borrow some money, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no. He's like, are you kidding me? He's like, look at you. He's like, no. And I was like in my prime, beautiful, you know, what beauty, right? Outer beauty. Beauty was to the eye of the beholder, of the people, right? With my big red lips and my bright blonde hair and my blue eyes and tan and, like, you know, strutting my stuff and high heels and all that. I can get a sugar daddy. I mean, I literally was this close to marrying a guy who was worth $25 million. This was like almost 30 years ago. 25 million is a lot now, but back then it was even more, you know. And then it's just like I started to realize like that I was like selling a bit of my soul every single time I did that. And I know what my dad was saying. Like, my dad was just like, there are other people on this planet that really need help. Like, don't be a fucking, you know, whatever. Like, go and work hard for it. You want it given to you, go get it from another daddy, but you ain't getting it from this one. You know? And I was like, I'm like, you don't love me, Bubba. He goes, it's because I love you. And he was right, you know? And so it's very, very, very interesting. But even that, and the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So that's really powerful, you guys. What you guys doing? Okay, so it says, even children know what a mermaid is. The idea of this half-human, half-fish type creature is all through our storybooks and collective consciousness. Yet mermaids are a varied bunch. Yes, they are aquatic, often beautiful, happy generally to do and be mermaids. But depending on where you go in the world culturally, they can be deeply dangerous or irresistibly seductive, or both. In almost all cases, even with the Greek mermaid-like creatures called the sirens, the mermaids have an extreme beauty. Such is their beauty that they are, at the very least, noticed, and, at the worst, an object of obsession, right? Because just as I would do that, I had guys who, like, were almost... I had one guy who was like, I would rather kill you than let you be with someone else. So you be really fucking careful where you put those love spells. You know what I mean? Or what you're doing. Because we're casting spells every time we blink our eyes, you know, our fake eyelashes, every time we, you know, be like, oh, honey, you know, whatever. It's like, and I remember somebody once said, wow, you're really smart. I thought you were stupid. And I was like, oh, wow. He's like, yeah, I really thought you were dumb. I'm like, why? And he's like, I mean, well, I go, because the way I look. And he's like, yeah, I mean, he's like, you're like the epitome of like a blonde bombshell, like, you know, what a stupid blonde, like when you think of a stupid blonde joke, he's like, you would be pictured there. And I was like, wow, you know. And so I knew over time I had to strip that back and strip it down and find my true identity, because I had built up an identity that was built up by my friends, my family, survival. And obviously, if you're here, you've probably gone through a lot of survival. Because, like, when I see this card, I feel like he's like, huh! Like, oh, like, I'm going to get away! Like, he's, like, chasing away a bear, you know what I mean? But at the same time, he's also, looks like he's making magic. But I also feel this kind of, like, chasing it away. So I feel like there's, like, the divine masculine part of you. Even though this is loyalty, I feel like maybe you're being loyal to yourself or, like, others around you. But you're not really being true to who you are, you know? So that's really powerful. Holy crap. All right, so. Oh, wow. Oh, they were talking about Mithras. Okay, sorry. I got really like wrapped up in this. It was so cool. Okay, so back to the mermaid. So what is the shadow side of each beauty? Wouldn't everyone love to be this glorious? The perils of extreme beauty are at the heart of the mythos of Helen of Troy and Medusa and even Scylla. The desirability of women this beautiful means they can be objectified, taken as a kind of trophy, or made a target of jealousy, right? Pitting women against each other, which is another thing over time, right? Like, because that brings discord. Instead, look at Taylor Swift. You can like her or not like her, but she just brought everyone together. But let's be honest, it's like an army of women, divine feminine, raising the energy right now. I'm sure like whenever her spirit guides or whatever like pulled her to do this Eras tour that would last this long, I mean, she's bringing it to the end of like, you know what I mean? Because it's there's just so much through the election, you know what I mean? It's just too much. Like, I mean, it's writing itself. It's so beautiful. And she's my birthday sister. I have the same fucking birthday. That's why I know like I'm meant to come back like full force this year too, you know, like we have a purpose, we have a place, like there is something here, but we must keep our grace. And we cannot use humans or use energy anymore to our will just because we can, you know? Whoo! It's like we're getting like a very serious, like a little tongue lashing. We need it, you know? So it says, by being seen or admired, these women lose a part of themselves and sometimes their lives as they knew them. If we consider the way the modern beauties of today are turned into fodder for gossip media, we may see how this still plays out, right? My gosh, that's why Lindsay Lohan fell off the fucking planet. I mean, they're all good now, like everybody in that, you know, but there was a time where a lot of those girls, like they were mean girls, like they were the real mean girls, and they were like doing some horrible things and calling each other names, and I'm sure they, you know, regret it now and take all that back, but like, you know, some things you can't take back. But, you know, she went underground just because of like all of these things that it was like she lost who she was. It was like she became her actual character from Mean Girls. It's almost like Tina Fey is like the fairy witch that like wrote it into being, you know what I mean? It's like there are all these things that happen for a reason, and they're here for teachers. And right now we're learning as women to uplift each other with all this Me Too movement. It wasn't like, oh, look at me. It was like, no, it was like, let's stop acting like it's not a big deal when it's a big fucking deal. Let's stop acting like being coerced and forced to do things against our will, men or women. You know, let's talk about slavery. Let's talk about, you know, what's happening on the planet, right? It took a lot of people to come together to be like, holy shit, a lot of stuff is going to get uncovered. It's been happening. It's all going to be illuminated. This Capricorn full moon energy, oh my gosh, you have to watch the Pam Gregory thing. I didn't get to watch all of it, but just some of it, I was like, where's my popcorn? I need to like, there was too much. And she even said, she's like, I'm sorry, I'm giving you guys so much information. And I get it. Me too. Sometimes I'm like, I have to dial it back, which by the way, I hope I have enough time. If it gets cut off, just know I love you and everything happens for a reason, and I'll either continue it or whatever, but hopefully we have enough time. But, you know, this is really serious. You know, this is, we need to support each other. And however you represent yourself, this is about the divine feminine rising back up and saying, you know, no, boys, enough. No more wars, no more crap, no more blah, blah, blah. You know, I've said it for years and I'll stand by it. I think there should be a universal laws on this planet. I don't think it should just be in this part of the world, you know. you can rape and pillage and cut off a female's clitoris. You know, like, what the fuck? Like, cut off her divine pleasure, connection to the divine. Like, you don't have that right to do that, you know? There should be rules in place. There should be people ruling the planet that are like, we live here. This is a beautiful planet. We are honored to live here. Most of the planet is water. So, you know, it's like, if you're concerned about certain relationships, they're like, all you need to concern yourself with is your relationship to the water and the divine of saving this planet and living your purpose. All the other things will either fall away if they're not meant to stay, or they'll stay with you. You'll be very surprised the people who actually will have your back and the people who won't, and that's okay. You know, let them be who they are and you be who you are. Okay? So part of the mermaid mythos too is that because of their beauty, people could and would lose their wits in their lives. The story of lonely sailors seeing beautiful mermaids and swimming to them in a common enough motif, yet this story rarely has a happy ending for all. Sometimes the mermaids are the siren kind, where they lure the sailors to devour them. Sometimes the mermaids are sweet and curious, yet do not understand that these humans cannot indefinitely be in the sea and unintentionally allow their land-based suitors to drown. Maybe the men try to keep up with the mermaids, transfixed by their beauty and following them down into the depths and drowning before they realize how deep they've really gone. Right? They can't get back up. They don't have enough oxygen. So the plant companion here is the lotus. Oh, coming out of the mud too. Like, this is like so much, I feel so much mud in this metaphor, or in this is, and even her like rising out of, you know, the sea. And what is the sea at the base? It's like mud, sand, earth, right? So, and Larimar, which we have right here. And interestingly enough, Larimar was for another, one of the other ones too. So if you're drawn to one of the other readings, Larimar, even though it's water, was drawn to one of those other ones. Okay, so here's your, so work with the lotus flower, and also like bringing up like the meaning. Oh my gosh, some little entity just bit me. I don't know if you guys can see this, but there's like little bite marks on my arm right there. And look at, I've got my old school sea witch, gypsy. That's interesting. Wow. See, like, they want to take us over, and I'm like, it's fine. I'm like, it's all good. So anyway, so the next one is loyalty mithras, and the duality is loyalty versus disloyalty and support versus spurning, right? So if you're the divine feminine in this energy, in this relationship, and we're going to the relationship side now, whether it's romantic or otherwise, I'm feeling like the masculine energy is like has been trying to take you over, and you're like, nope, I'm not gonna have it. I'm not gonna have it. I'm gonna move you out of the way. I'm gonna make sure that I can get in here and we can both have some space. But interesting that it wants to go in front of the divine masculine wants to go in front of the amethyst, because that's where the healing is. That's where the healing is. Oh, that's where the healing is. That's where the healing is. Okay, and is someone supporting you? If you have a divine masculine in your life, ask yourself, because you're like, you know, can this be salvaged? They're like, well, you need to ask yourself, are they supporting your journey, or are they spurning your journey? Are they, you know, putting blocks in front of your way because you're moving ahead and they're not? Or maybe, you know what I mean? Like, there's multiple things where that can come from. It says, if you want loyalty, be worthy of it. Hold to your arguments. If you make promises to yourself, keep them. You may be used to holding to your agreements with others, but neglecting yourself. Trust relates to loyalty. Okay, so I don't remember which one it was now, but one of them talked about that in discipline. So I feel like some of you, it's about the discipline. Because anything can become habit if you do it every day for 30 days. Even a week. If you just got to keep going. And if you fall off one day, get back on and do it again. You know, I mean, that's the one thing I do like about AA, because I think that it's a great concept, that it's like, you're not fucking perfect. You're not supposed to be perfect, you know, so it's okay to fall off. And, you know, the thing is that you just get back up, and you may fall 1,000 times as long as you get back up 10,000 more times. You know what I mean? Well, you know what I mean, right? So I feel that really strongly. It says, whether Mithras was a god sparked in Persia or India, or whether he sprang fully formed in the ancient Roman Empire, is not known for sure. Either way, he was a deity of action, honor, and sacrifice, and his mysteries were passed carefully from initiate to initiate. The true origins of the cult of Mithras are not known, and this is particularly due to the inherently hidden nature of the rites and rituals that were communicated through a tightly held hierarchical structure. Mithras, it was said, was the god of the ordinary Roman soldier. In war, the Roman soldier often held a tight battle formation or series of maneuvers. To be successful, each man had to rely on the others next to or near him to be holding to the line and plan. In the testudo tortoise formation, in the tortoise formation, each shield is brought together into a wall that extends to the side and over the soldiers' heads. Have you ever seen that? I've seen it in movies where they've got their shield this way and then they've got their shield like on top, right? Like, so that's how, so if people or arrows are coming in, you know, they work together in a formation. So I feel like if this person wants to work with you, like I'm getting the vibe, like if they want to work with you in a way that like is helping both of you, then yes. But if it's not, and like you're going this way and they're going that way, your answer is simple. And you know, at the end of the question, let me go to it. At the end of the question, it says, can this relationship be salvaged, or is it time to start over? It could even be something like that, that maybe start over with a brand new person. Maybe it's a start over, you know, after things have been managed and worked through, or maybe there's no start over at all. And you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with the latter. Because I feel like you're trying to control it and be like, well, if I know that blah, 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 then I can do this. And they're like, no, just do what you need to do now and don't concern yourself with this. But use your divine masculine magic. You know, be loyal to you. You're the only one that you need to be loyal to. Your divine masculine, your divine feminine. That's the only one you need to be loyal to. And if you are in this energy of this, you know, this beautiful goddess deity, be kind. And maybe you're balancing two people in your life. I feel like there's like somehow between like, maybe it's I feel like there's like a love triangle, but not that like there's someone cheating, more like maybe your sister like hates your husband or something, and you're like, but there's something really special, and they're like, what? I don't get it. I don't get it. And you're like, I know you don't, because I see a side of him that nobody else sees. And you have to remember that a lot of divine masculines can be very private. They only show you what they want you to see. So, right, like not everything is above the surface. There's some stuff that are really deep that you have to work through. And on this card, they each have deep, dark, and dangerous, and this one is dangerous. So, right, it's like you can wield your power. Wow, look at how much it went in. How cool. You can wield your power and your energy in any way, shape, or form that you want to. But remember, the old saying, with great strength comes great responsibility, right? Interesting that this cuff like came into my life just recently. And I felt like it brought like something back to me that I was missing, like kind of like a regal. See, they're wearing a cuff, but I've also have this like more lighter side. So I remember to balance, right? I balance the femininity of this soft one to this kind of heavier, you know, lapis metal, you know, cool design. Like, you know, like it's like everything happens for a reason. And I knew, like, I need to step back into my power. I need to renegotiate my divine masculine, because I was abusing my divine masculine on my divine masculine in my life. All of them, really. So with that being said, it says, after they would be covered and protected, they had to trust each other, because that trust meant survival. This close connection they had with each other is one of the key reasons the Roman legions were unbeatable. The Mithraic mysteries allowed this bond to be further strengthened and ritualized and given a divine blessing. Admission into the Mithraic community, I don't know if I'm saying that right, was completed with a handshake with the pater, the father or patron, just as Mithras and Sol, the sun god, shook hands. The initiates were thus referred to as syndoxia, I don't know, syndoxy? Those, and it means those united by the handshake. This is where the modern handshake comes from. A symbol of trust. Holy shit. Right? Did you ever shake someone's hand and you're like, whoa, like, I don't want that energy. You're like, right? Be mindful. So the plant companion is the sunflower. I love it. And the crystal companion is the sunstone. I don't think we're having any more messages. Okay. It's funny. I'm like, holy crap. I think it's like 3 hours and 42 minutes. But I did one for the tribe and then these 4 readings. I want to see if we've got these messages down here, but I want to see if there are any more. Oh, I was just going to say, I felt like there was at least one more. Holy shit. Number 17, deep. The Minotaur. Compassion. And you know why the Minotaur has compassion? Do you know the story of the Minotaur? Because we're about to tell it. And if it cuts me off, then you'll have to research it. Compassion, number 17, which is also the number 8. And did I not say at the beginning of this that 8 is your number? Wow, wow, wowie, wow, wow. Okay, so interesting that we've got 2 beings that are, that's why they have compassion, right? Now this one, I don't know. I mean, it's not like they were made, like, what did he say? Because it's not like they were, the God in ordinary. He's a deity. He is a deity of action, honor, and sacrifice, and his mysteries were past, but the true origins of the cult are not known. So I feel like that's why I feel this way about this. So maybe he is like half earth, half man or something. You know what I mean? But I feel like it's not. It kind of feels like the Incredible Hulk, too. I almost feel like somebody in your life gets really angry. You know, gets really angry. I feel a lot of anger. Maybe it's you. But that's really interesting. I'm just saying, like, none of them are a complete person, right? Because even this, it's like if they're a deity, they're not of the earth or in the earth. You know what I mean? Like they're in the earth, but they're not really, right? We're like, he has half human, half animal, and she's half human, half fish, right? So, okay. Sorry. Well, because sometimes I try to make logic out of something that it's not my, you know what I mean? Like the logic is what it is. Or it doesn't have to be logic. Drink some water. Plus I'm tired and my brain is like, sometimes I go back and watch something and I'm like, oh, I missed that whole thing, but I'm hoping like you guys caught it. Like the connection or something, you know, that like went right over my head because I'm tired. Okay. So the Minotaur, extend compassion to others and yourself. Pity is not compassion. Be aware that you may be being scapegoated or that you are scapegoating others. Take responsibility for your actions. Look deeper before making decisions about others. Seek your shadow. The duality is compassion versus ostracism, right? Like you have compassion or you just don't want to like deal with them at all. Or the other duality of this card is betrayal versus allegiance. Interesting. So it says, when we think of Great Bull of Crete, we often think about the frightening, violent creature in the labyrinth and the hero needing to overcome it. Yet the shadow in this story is not, hold on, I'm trying to get comfortable. My legs are like starting to fall asleep. All right. Yet the shadow in this story is not the creature, but those around him. Oh, yes, it reminds me of Frankenstein. So Minos is one of 3 brothers vying for the throne of ancient Crete. Crete at the time was one of the most powerful centers of influence in the known world. Minos argues that the kingship should go to him because of his uniquely good relationship with the gods. He states that all he needs to do is ask the gods for something and it will happen. To prove this, he performs a ritual and prays to the sea god Poseidon, asking that a bull come from the ocean. He promises that this bull will be sacrificed back to the god as thanks. Amazingly, a bull walks out of the ocean. A magnificent white bull. Oh, I love this. Perfect. You know, the white calf was just born in Lakota and all that. Oh, interesting. Magnificent white bull, perfect in form, dazzling everyone on the beach. Minos is given the kingship and becomes the ruler. However, it is here that he makes his first mistake, because he thinks the bull is so beautiful that he decides to keep it for himself and sacrifice a lesser bull to Poseidon. Everyone knows that an animal marked for sacrifice to a deity isn't to be kept for oneself, as this is hugely insulting to the gods. Poseidon is no exception and punishes Minos by making his faithful wife, Pasiphae, fall in love with the bull. She mates with the bull and births a baby she loves, yet it has the head of a bull.
There is outrage in the kingdom, and the child, the Minotaur, is eventually placed in a specially constructed maze below the palace. He lives there lonely for the most part, but is visited by his sister Eridine and mother occasionally until his father yet again changes things. Minos' other son, Androgeus, is killed in Athens. In his revenge, Crete attacks Athens and wins, imposing a penalty. This penalty is that every 9 years, some say every year, Athens must supply 7 young men and 7 young women to be given as sacrifices to the Minotaur. A boat with black sails is dispatched to carry these young people to their deaths. This goes on for 3 sacrifice cycles until the Athenian hero and son of Aegeus, the king Theseus, decides to kill the Minotaur and stop the sacrifices. Theseus tells his father that if he is successful, he will fly a sail of white instead of black. Theseus meets Ariadne, and they fall in love. She agrees to help him make his way in and out of the complex labyrinth to kill the Minotaur. She shows him how to leave a trail by unraveling a ball of wool behind him as he goes. Theseus meets the Minotaur and kills him and frees the other prisoners. He sails back to Athens in triumph with his lady and her sister. I don't want to say the name wrong again. And her sister, but forgets to raise the white sail. Remember I was just saying about somebody and their sister? Oh my gosh, it's right here. Wow. Like some of you, I was like, it's like there's something going on. Like there's a relationship there with like, that's so interesting. Okay, there's something going on here with somebody, and there's some triangle with this, with two divine feminine and 1 divine masculine, however that works for you, inward, outward. There's definitely something going on with this relationship. So here, I feel like this is your answer. For some of you who want an answer, you're going to get it through this mythology. And so, he sails back to Athens in triumph with Ariadne and her sister, but forgets to raise the white sail. King Aegeus, on the lookout for his son's ship returning, sees the all-black sails and presumes his son is now dead. He commits suicide by throwing himself off the cliff into the ocean, another death added to this sorry tale. It is worth remembering the Minotaur did nothing wrong and was not inherently evil. He was the product of family trauma and the scapegoat of the bad behavior of others. What if he had not been disowned and shunned? What if his uniqueness was an asset and not used as something monstrous? And what if he had been shown compassion and not disdain? Literally, the Minotaur was the embodiment of the dark part of the family, or a person's own consciousness that lives hidden and that no one really wants to see. Oh, man. Oh, I feel this, right? Because as starseeds and light workers, if you guys are like me, I know with my family, I had to just pull myself away because I got tired of being the scapegoat. I got tired of being the black sheep. I got tired of the brunt of the joke, the bullying, the bullshit. And I feel like this is you guys too. Let it go. You just let it go. And it could be with a significant other, but I really do feel like this is like a family or like something with that. Okay, so the plant companion is the Minotaur, which I didn't know there was a plant. And the crystal companion is the carnelian, which is so interesting because I was going to put this away because I used it for the fire one. But this, so use the carnelian. Oh, I want you to see it. It's a banded one. It's so pretty. Maybe if I put the fire here. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's beautiful. So work with the carnelian, okay? And I think that's it. I mean, ending with the Minotaur feels pretty powerful to me. But let me see. Oh, I said that. I spoke too soon. Number 9, deep, the Guardians. Cerberus. So I feel like Spirit's like, don't concern yourself with this. I feel like, you know, you don't need to concern yourself with all of this other stuff. Because Spirit has got your back. What number is this? Number 9. And it's deep. So I forgot that these have labels at the top. I didn't do this for the other ones. But you have dangerous, deep, 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 deep. Right? In the deep oceans, right? Because you got to go to the deepest darks of yourself
I feel like this is your message. For you to let go of this, you have to go to the deepest darks of yourself. And when you do, call on your guardians. And there are guardians of the dark, of the darkness, you know, there are of the underworld. Call to the animals. And remember I was talking about the werewolf energy? There's something there for you guys. Like there is seriously something. Number 9, 369, 369, 369. Those numbers are really powerful right now. So the duality of this card is guardianship versus abandonment. I get that feeling. And loyalty versus disloyalty, right? Because you're like, you feel like if you abandon your family, you're going to be disloyal. But let me ask you something. How many times were they disloyal to you when they shunned you, when they, you know, and if this is a significant other, friend, family, work, whatever, this still applies. They want you to think about this. You have your guardians. You have your white light. You have your shadow. You've got your guardians. These people in the human form, even though they're connected to us, they're at a different level of consciousness than you are. And they may never, ever, ever get to where you are in this lifetime. They might. I hope they do. But if they don't, let it go. You have so much more to do and so much more to give. And I'm really proud of you. You've been working really, really hard. Keep going in the flow of this water energy, okay? And this says, develop strong and healthy boundaries. You should respect the boundaries of others. Not all places or people are for you or should be available to you. Exercise and expect loyalty. Now remember, if you're still holding on to somebody too, like a romantic relationship or even friends, family, whatever, you're holding them back from where they need to go onto their next journey. It's not for you to decide. It's for them to decide. How they handle with you walking away from everything, like that's how they handle it. It's not your fault. It's nothing you did, right? Stand up for yourself. You don't have to buy into that. It says, in the earliest myth, Hades and Hercules fight for Cerberus, the guardians. It is said that Hercules shoots an arrow and wounds Hades and subdues the hound with chains, dragging him to the surface. Later, myths suggest Hades agrees that Hercules can take Cerberus with him, but only if he's able to subdue him without a weapon. Hercules wraps his lion's skin around the dog to hold him and then grabs him by each of his heads and squeezes until he submits. Once at the surface, at the temple of Demeter, which I want you to research and work with Demeter energy, Demeter. It looks like Demeter, however you want to say it. But speaking of love, you want to work with that deity. Let me see. Sothonia Cerberus is startled by the sunlight and vomits venom and foam bile all over the flowers at the exit, giving the plant aconite its poisonous nature, which is your plant you're going to work with. He struggles mightily, and Hercules manages to exhibit the hound to people in cities along the way. Hercules is widely criticized for this because of his lack of humility and excessive pride, right? So he cuts the heads off of these dogs that are just there to be the guardians, right? Like that was their job. But he's like, look at me, I killed the beast, I killed the beast. They're like, yeah, but we need that beast. That beast is our protector. Like, what are you doing? They're a guardian, like, you know what I mean? So be mindful of like who you're cutting off at the knees, and you know, like be mindful of like when you're like, should I salvage this relationship? Go from the core when you're settled. Don't go at this relationship when you're going at it emotionally. You know what I mean? Like if you're working with somebody in an energy right now that's not aligned with yours, and you're not doing it with compassion, remember, you know, or if you're like, oh, I don't like them, or I'm too good for them, or I'm, you know, blah, 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 or whatever. They're dark and I'm light. We all have light and shadow. That's your pride talking. That's the ego talking. So it says, finally, the three-headed dog is presented to the king and the labor deemed successful. Some say Hercules took Cerberus home, but more popular is the account that, like all good boys, the dog found its way back to Hades and never left him again. But there's a whole story in that. But if you want to research it, you can. But for now, they just want me to wrap this up. So work with obsidian as your crystal, and there's your plant. I don't know what it is, so you have to research that on your own. You can write it down, take a screenshot. Okay, so let me see, do we have any more? Nope. We are good. Thank you for hanging in here. This was a long but beautiful journey. Thank you for taking it with me. And for those of you who watched the beginning reading, for the tribe. It was kind of like a download of a lot of things that are happening right now. I hope you enjoyed that as well. And all of my information is where you click on the different links. It'll take you for if you want to donate, if you want to set up time with me. My email is magicalmedium@gmail.com. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm really tired, so I'm gonna leave it here with this beautiful view of the water. And let me just take 1 second to close my eyes and make sure that we are. Oh, they wanted me to bring this in. Rose quartz wasn't in there, and neither was the is this rose quartz? Rose quartz wasn't in there, and neither was this Lemurian crystal. But I feel like for some of you, you've got multiple lives. Like whether you've probably been Lemurian and you've been Atlantean, you've been a mermaid, you've been a lot of things. You've been a lot of things. So now once you step into your divine and your purpose, you will understand everything. Everything is going to come to you in a way that you're going to be like, holy crap, if you keep following these breadcrumbs, right? And as far as those people are concerned, if they're taking your sparkle away, you already know the answer. You know what I mean? So I look forward to connecting with you guys again soon. We know we've got Mercury's going retrograde soon in real time. Today is July 20th, and we are going to... I'm like, don't look at me, I'm hideous. Don't look at the you see this? I'm like, don't look at this. But I wanted you to see that. But we're going to be going out of Cancer and into Leo energy in a few days. And then we're going to have Mercury will be going retrograde. And there's a lot of other things that are going on with a lot of other planets. Those are just the, obvious ones. There's stuff going on with Pluto. There's so many things happening. I mean, honestly, there's so many things happening. And then we have the Lionsgate portal, Dragonsgate portal that's coming up. So bear down, my friends, but don't go into it with fear. Go into it with love and excitement and gratification, and that nothing has to be perfect for it to be beautiful. Until next time, take good care of yourselves and each other. I love you so much. Bye. I love you. Oh my God, I heard myself go bye. I'm like, I don't even talk like that. Anyway, this is what happens of like 5 or 6 hours of straight like connection with spirit. I love you. I'll see you next time. Everything else will be in the community section too. Your other little gems and stuff. I'll see you later. Bye. Love you.